We are just down the road from our nation's capital in D.C. FS1 college football, and Big Ten time here between the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers with a 5-4 record visiting the Terrapins of Maryland with a record of 4-5 at CQ Stadium here in College Park, Maryland. Nice to have you joining us. With former All-American running back and national champion Spencer Tillman, I'm Chris Myers, and this should be a good one. In fact, the head coach of Rutgers, Greg Schiano, he said it's going to be a heavyweight fight. He referenced Ali and Rocky Balboa. So let's see for Maryland, who their coach has said, hey, we've started our playoffs already. We're in desperate times. Who for Maryland, Spencer, can provide a knockout punch?
Well, irrespective of how it plays out, Chris, both quarterbacks have got to have a heavyweight caliber performance. We'll start with Billy Edwards, though. He has progressively gotten better over the weeks. Hadn't manifest itself in wins and losses necessarily, but I've seen it, right? You can see it in his command. You can see it in his confidence. The issue, Chris, is he's got a rejiggered offensive line that he's going to have to navigate behind. And if he's not careful, Joe Harasmiak, the opposing defensive coordinator, could dial up some pressure that could be problematic for him. He's got to keep his eyes upfield and deal with that.
For the Scarlet Knights, a win makes them bowl eligible. They just ended a 4-game losing skid. Their quarterback played well, and we're awaiting word on their star runner who missed last week's game, Kyle Monangai. He has worked out. Still iffy. It truly is a game-time decision for him.
Ethan Kalakmanis will have to step up instead, and he's certainly capable of doing it. Did so well against Minnesota last week. He was motivated for that one after a little bit of a time off. Spent 3 years there. He's got to bottle that performance, Chris, and come out and do that again. Again, you talked about the running back situation with Jayshon Benjamin, Antoine Raymond opposite of him. Those guys had a collective 150 yards last week. They do a great job as number twos. And if they get off, then look for number 8 and number 9. KJ Duff, Ian Strong, the wide receiver, 6'3" and 6'6" respectively. Those two are like lit fuses racing to a point to explode, my friend. They're dangerous.
Yeah, and Rutgers has a debt to pay here. The last 3 head-to-head meetings against Maryland, the Terrapins have had the upper hand. The kickoff from College Park, Maryland, straight ahead. Getting ready to kick here. Rutgers' last win came in 2020. Mentioned that the Terps had won 3 in a row. They lead the series, scoring 24 points or more in all of the matchups, and we expect a lot of offense in tonight's game. Kyle Monangai was out for the coin toss, so that's encouraging on a cool evening here. Clear skies in the 50s. It'll get down into the 40s and no rain in the forecast. Maryland won the toss and deferred. Jack Howell's ready to get things going. Week 12 is happening here on FS1, and it is Dremel into the end zone, and Dremel brings the ball out. And Monangai is in the huddle waiting and watching closely to see if he was going to go. And again, missed last week. Upper body injury is all that we really had to work with, but he's a 3rd in the Big Ten in rush yards, so they need him. And they survived without him last week, but look to run the ball more with him in the lineup.
And I think he was in a little bit of a concussion protocol scenario too as well, so we'll see how long he's able to stay in the lineup. He's got a 53% completion rate as a passer, helping him out. They've got to spread the wealth and again get those other 2 backup running backs involved.
From the 25-yard line, the snap and throwing. Sideline throw coverage was very good over there. Demir Miller was the target, and Glendon Miller was on the coverage. Well, this offense, we've talked about a number of injuries and starters for out on both sides of the ball, but the passing offense for Kalakmanis, he's coming off of his best game of the season.
Well, everything the offense is going to run through Ian Strong on the outside and the perimeter that we talked about in the open. He's got a complimentary receiver opposite of him. If those two get going, it's going to be a race for both these ball clubs to score points.
And they hand off to Monangai, who glides up around the 29-yard line before he's brought down. Defense for Maryland, and they have had problems in the secondary. Let's be honest about it. They were honest about it and trying to correct that issue. As a quick snap here, And the pass incomplete by Kaliak-Manis, trying to get to Miller again, and Glendon Miller on the coverage.
Jordan Phillips has got to help them defenses up front because of that pace and tempo. Rutgers will use it as a tactical advantage. Now they've got to be careful because they don't necessarily want to get into a track meet with this ball club, because I'm telling you, Maryland can score points. They've got receivers, and what they're looking for is that one person who can complete the throw and then the catch and then put themselves in a position to athletically leverage that sense of ability that they've got in that regard. They've not been able to complete plays so far. An old flag out now.
False start. Offense, number 82. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
Well, the irony here, the least penalty yards in all of college football, Rutgers, and second fewest penalties, and here they have one on a punt attempt. Special teams is a strong point. Greg Schiano handles that.
Absolutely.
Backs him up a little bit, and on the move and punting is Anderson, the Australian, and it gets inside the 40-yard line. Ty Felton back there for Maryland, and good field position for the Terps to start things on offense.
Well, you pointed out Greg Schiano taking a key role in the special teams, and in fact he went out of his way to take pride for that. You know, he's got a defensive pedigree, but he says, look, I'm almost as involved in the offense as I am the special teams and the defense. So taking claim for that. We'll see if that transfers tonight.
Yeah, he trusts his coordinator Spencer quite a bit, and obviously with special teams you involve players from both sides of the ball and get to know them a little bit more closely as a head coach. After a 39-yard punt from the 37, Roman Hemby, the back, he gets the ball and up across the 41-yard line where he is brought down. And Hemby has been a star player for this team, averaging 4.5 a carry. Go back to being an honor roll student as well. It's always worth mentioning when you have to split time between studies and playing the game.
Well, the bottom line is, can they get continuity in that reconstituted offensive line? It's had 7 different iterations so far this year. Tonight, another move made late at tackle.
And the pass by Edwards is caught, and falling should be enough for the first down. Caden Prather, senior from Montgomery. And by the way, Edwards ranking 3rd in the Big Ten with over 2,500 yards. And he's got 14 touchdown passes as well, going against this defense that had its best game of the season in the win over the Gophers last week.
Got a little surprise from Tyrene Powell, who showed up. He's kind of gone through a various sundry list of injuries. He showed up big time last week to inspire this team.
And Hamby with a strong run down to the 43-yard line, close to another first down for Maryland.
Well, Roman Hamley is just such a great #1 for this program. He's a local kid, unbelievable character. To watch Josh Gaddis, the offensive coordinator, talk about him in our time with him yesterday, Chris, it gave me really pause for just to think about how rare he is as an asset for this offense. He's a complete player.
Yeah, hoping to lead the team in rushing for the 3rd straight season. Edwards' throw falls short at the 35-yard line. Ty Felton was in the area.
And see, that's an example of what I'm talking about, Chris. You can't complete the cycle. In other words, the execution may be a great throw. In that case, it was not. And then a reception, it's caught, but maybe you don't put it on the outside shoulder so the receiver can turn and get upfield. They've not been able to complete the execution cycle. But when they do, let me tell you something, this offense can be something special. They throw the ball top 5 in the nation in terms of amounts, times that they throw it. So they're going to take some shots to be sure.
On a 3rd down 2, Hemby hit as soon as he got the football. Excellent defense up front from Rutgers. It'll be a 4th down decision on whether to go or not. Like Loyal from the safety spot, his nickel spot maybe.
Yeah,
in the middle,
Dejome, number 28. He's going to be all over the place. You're going to see him. He's so athletic. Number 28. They've had a barrage, has Rutgers, of injuries in that position, and so he's had to step up. And so you'll see him moved all over the place to find some holes where he can help this defense.
And without hesitation on 4th down, the throw complete for a first down. Ty Felton. And on the move, Billy Edwards Jr. delivers.
Well, Ty Felton is unbelievable. We talked about him in our prep time and what impact he will have. There's a lot of receivers. Octavian Smith is another one, number 5. Will be in the slot. Caden Prather, we've seen him already. Now Ty Felton, number 10. This is the difference maker right here. One of the top in the nation. You can see with 81 receptions. That's the largest they've had here in a long, long time. Number 1 in school history, in fact.
Yep, single season records, some impressive names on that list, and just missing on that opportunity, trying to get the ball to Felton once again.
And again, not to beat a dead horse, Chris, we just talked about it. Complete the execution cycle. That time, it was the quarterback who missed. And maybe the next time it's going to be a wide receiver. But anytime they can do it, let me tell you, Locks has taken over this offensive scheme about 3 weeks ago, and it's been a slow progression. They are getting better. They're just not completing the cycle of execution. And when they do that, wide open receiver running on a shallow crossing route, that's a score. Any other offense. Now they've got an offside penalty.
Nolan Ray.
Illegal snap.
Was in.
Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
Nolan Ray was in at running back, and there is Michael Loxley. Therese Davis started at that left tackle spot for Andre Roy. I don't know if the call was on him or not, but it will back up Maryland on 2nd and 15. Ray remains the back. And throwing is Edwards for the end zone, just off the fingertips of Prather. And Robert Longerbeam, who is the best cover guy in that Rutgers secondary, made sure he didn't catch it.
Impress coverage out here. You can see the dangerous receiver out in the perimeter. That's Caden Prather. Outside release. And again, in his hip pocket already. So you got him in a position. That's, again, I hate to say it, but that's execution. You leave that ball a little bit short. You're trying to drop a dime, but you leave it just a little bit short and allow the defender to recover from it. They've got to finish from stem to stern on execution.
Facing a 3rd and 15 from the 32. First possession here for Maryland, and threatening extra pressure. They only send 3 time, and Ray will be run out of bounds. And whether they line up for the field goal or not, they need to get to the 18-yard line. Looks like Jack Howes is coming out.
Yep, so Billy Edwards does a great job of getting him down here near the red area. But again, execution is going to force them to deal and settle for a field goal in this scenario. Just inability to execute. Plenty of chances. Guys running wide open. And one of those 3 shots, one of them was close. Just came up short.
Trying for the 44-yard field goal. He's 8 of 8 under 40. 0 for 3 from 50 plus. From this range, the kick is not good. Kind of a line drive, but Greg Schiano's defense, after the offense sputters, forces them into a field goal try. We are scoreless in the opening quarter. Time to check out today's game flow, sponsored by Progressive. The band warming up, and so are the 2 offenses. Maryland and Rutgers scoreless in the first. Rutgers on offense here from the 26-yard line. Time for our Hampton Stay in the Game, sponsored by Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay.
Well, the keys are going to be really simple. In Rutgers Scarlet Knights, have got to find a balance in the run game. We talked about needing it. 150 is a number they got last week. Don't think they'll get it this week. And so we'll be able to see how they progress along, and we'll keep you informed on that. And then, of course, ultimately on the other side, it's about the rhythm, right? Getting those 2 running backs going. That's going to be a big key for them.
And a rhythm for Monangai, who wouldn't go down, gets up across the 35-yard line. What a strong run.
Nice job of stretching this on the outside and getting to the edge. And it's just one of those quick hitting inside plays, but sometimes you have to improvise. Great moves after the catch, getting back on the field now. They're going to go pace and tempo as a tactical advantage, but those runs right there are going to push the breadth and the width of the field. Let's see if they can stretch it the opposite side on the left side now.
Picked up 11, good enough for a first down. He's 69 yards away, came into this game 69 away from another 1,000-yard season. But this time, blasting through was the guy they call Sneak, the senior from Maryland.
Well, Sneak got in there, number 7, and I think it's that 7 number that he wants to be regarded as big sexy, right? You can watch that big front 4, Chris, and watch him get underneath there. A little collision at the point of attack, and then the ability to shed and get off of those tackles so quickly is what makes this front so athletic and so dangerous.
Tommy Akingbe Sote from Largo, Maryland, and Flowers High School. A loss of 1. Benjamin, sophomore, in at running back now. Kaliak managed to throw and floats one. Receiver was not open in the area of Jashawn Benjamin. Caleb Wheatland on the coverage. Just a quick overview on Rutgers. They won their first 4 games, 3 non-conference games in the Big Ten opener against Washington. Beat the Huskies. Remember last year's runner-up, the college football playoff. That was Washington playing their first Big Ten game, but having a little trouble after UCLA lost 4 in a row. Nebraska, Wisconsin, USC, UCLA, and then beat Minnesota last week. And his 5th season, but 16th overall. 5th season in his 2nd go-round for Shiani.
Pressure worked last play, single safety, another pressure opportunity here. Let's see what they do. Stay back in cover 2. Now they're trying to change the look up.
On a 3rd and 11, Kaliak throws. Catch made across the 40. That's Miller. They've been going to him quite a bit to start, but short of the first down.
Brian Williams, the defensive coordinator for Maryland, doing a great job of mixing up his coverages in front. They gave him a man look pure with pressure the last time. This time it was pure zone, but they kind of gave him what we call a bastard read and look and kind of oscillated back and forth to the line of scrimmage.
What kind of a read?
Yeah, it's a bastard read. That's what we call it. All it is it means a false read. We're going to give you something that doesn't have an origin. It looks crazy. We just say you just end up in this position right here.
What's your phraseology, young man? Back to punt again is Jacob Anderson, one of those top punters from down under, and slides and boots toward the sideline. Felton, fair catch around the 20-yard line. Greg Schiano's defense doing its job. The offense not so much. Going to look at this Maryland offense. We expected a lot of points. We're waiting. Beautiful fall evening here in the state of Maryland as we welcome you back to college football and FS1, sponsored by Hampton. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. A couple of punt exchanges so far. And a look back at the season for Maryland. Started 3-1, a 72-point differential on the plus side, but then lost 4 of 5 and dipped below an 80-point differential and need to win 2 of their last 3 to become bowl eligible. And Michael Locksley, their head coach, was very candid with it. He told his team that. He said, we can't fool around. And you look at the schedule, what's coming up after Rutgers is Iowa and Penn State. So this is one we got to get to have bowl hopes to be realistic. Roman Hemby to the 25 and pile up on the freeway there and stopped about the 28-yard line.
Chris, and to put a cap on your last comments, and I watched that Oregon game over and over again. I'll tell you, man, they were not that far behind. I don't know what the number looks like, but they gave them a short field, 2 turnovers, and then maybe with 7:48 or so left, they're within 5 points if they get another score. So, again, when you consider that, this team is a lot further along. They just have to convert it and then produce victories.
That was an 8-yard run, and now to throw is Edwards. Nice if he can, but he's thrown down. Aaron Lewis, senior from Williamstown, New Jersey, gets his 2nd sack of the season.
Well, we just knew it was a matter of time. Joe Harasmiak, the defensive coordinator, is going to dial up pressure. Watch him here. It's not a pure 9 technique. He's about a 7. He's going to wait and play that in a nice positive way and then go upfield and then flush the quarterback up into the pocket. Watch the eyes of the quarterback. Billy's got to keep his eyes upfield. He understands that offensive line is a little bit leaky, Chris, but he's got to be able to trust it a little bit more.
Facing a 3rd and 7. They had a 5-yard loss. And he's set to throw. Edwards sideline toss. Some hand fighting going on. And here comes a flag as that ball is intercepted by Shaquan Loyal. And he is brought down around midfield. We'll check that penalty flag along the sideline.
That's going to come back out there. You got guys chicken fighting on the edge on the perimeter, and late flag comes out to confirm as much. So both of them saw it. Press coverage on the outside, and you can see Eric Rogers, the left cornerback. Watch him press on the switch route. He gets upfield and then maybe gets that hand on his shoulder and holds him back.
Defense, number 5. 15-yard penalty for the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, that was on Kosh Sanders, who got his first start last week at that position, the freshman from Newark, New Jersey. And a fresh set of downs now for Maryland.
Yeah, Catch had a difficult time last week on a pass route that came his way, and then on a run game where he came inside and came at a poor angle. And I asked his defensive coordinator about the tack angle, and it's something that they focused on. Got to do a better job of execution.
See if they go back to Hemby here, who had gotten 8 on first down the last time, and Hemby with a tough hit picks up another 8 before going down, running into Flip Dixon. I want to talk about this Maryland offense because they rank in the top 5. You touched in the Big Ten in points per game, total yards per game, passing yards, and that they have for 3 consecutive seasons.
Well, Chris, they've got skilled players. I mean, they've got running backs, they've got receivers, and they've got some guys that are hitting in there. Slot receiver Octavian Smith, watch him because he's, I believe, that third piece to what they need to do offensively. You need to create a triangle with those receivers. You can do it with the tight end, but preferably with the slot guy can open an offense wide open.
All right, it's back to Hemby, who should be close to the first down. Yeah, after Ty Felton and Caden Prather, I can see where Octavian Smith can figure. He did get the first down.
Well, Octavian is relatively young, and the problem with it is adoption, right? When Mike Loxley's taking over the offense, you got to be able to get in there and then help a good guy, young, aggressively get back in there and get acclimated to the scheme. And he's doing a better job of it. The progress is slow.
They have moved the ball back a bit. So it's now less than a yard on third down. And
no, they won't get that.
Keeping is Billy Edwards Jr. This Rutgers defense up front. It's going to be a fourth down.
Jaquan Lowell, the strong safety, man, they were ready for that. They pinched down Chris so quick as that one. And Greg Schiano should be proud of that effort because they were not caught off guard. They squeezed, and Powell was the lead person in that little scrum that you saw up there. Closed that opportunity, which should have been just a gimme, right?
They actually may have lost a little.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, where the spot is.
At a half a yard.
But without hesitation going from their own 47.5-yard line. They got it on last time on fourth down, and this time Hemby cuts straight ahead and across midfield and a first down for the Terrapins.
I'll tell you what, Hemby came in there and he was just hell-bent for election, man. He just came in there and found a soft spot. I thought he was going to run to the left because it was basically what they call an uneven front. No bodies were in the down. They were all standing up, and the leverage factor as a running back usually works in your favor when you don't have to go against a guy that's lower than you.
Already 7 carries, 33 yards for Hemby. Nolan Ray and Hemby are in the backfield with Billy Edwards. And Edwards keeps after the fake, but he can't quite turn the corner. Gets around the 45-yard line before going out of bounds. Flip Dixon over there chasing him down.
Locke's going with what they call split flow. Anytime you see those running backs crisscross like that, they're trying to check the eye discipline of the linebackers. And if they hesitate for just a beat, Chris, those guards and those tackles can get up on them. It's when you have declared where you're going to go so quickly that they begin to flow, and it's really tough to track those guys down.
Yeah, well, they like it. Hemby and Ray both remain out there. Quick pass is caught by Hemby. Needs to get inside the 40 for a first down.
Great job of flowing on that defense.
Second active player with 2,000 rush yards and 100 catches. That's quite an honor. You see Woody Marks of USC, the first. But Hemby, and he's more than that, and you touched on it, what his coaches and teammates think of him and how well he's worked with this team through their struggles.
Oh, what a great move.
And there he goes, Roman Hemby. Inside the 25 of Rutgers.
Chris, you got to come in there with your head up and watch Hemby here against this out front. Everybody's what they call a starboard charge. You got to come in there mindful of where you're going. Hemby can run in the phone booth if he needs to, but he also can run with the type of conviction of a power guy. That one was a little bit of combination of both speed and power at the front end, and then the move, the wiggle in your hip. And that was smoked through a keyhole right there, Chris. That's sweet.
Had a 100-yard game against Indiana this year and had a couple of touchdowns in this game, as good as Indiana has been. Rolling, Edwards throwing and reaching incomplete inside the 15 was Felton. Coverage pretty good over there.
Masco, yeah. Well, Masco, it was really in his hip pocket. Again, he got a down. Felton's down. That's a big key for him there.
Timeout for an injured offensive play.
Lower foot, ankle area.
Wow. Now, you don't want to lose Felton because, again, he's really the linchpin to what they do offensively. We'll step away and return after we do this.
A school record night for Ty Felton, and you see what he's done in the Big Ten Conference and seems to be okay heading over to the sideline. Important part of that offense.
No question about it. Locks knows that he's an important part of the offense. A lot of it's because of his ability to close and to finish at the top of routes. He's a great route runner. He's physical at 6'2", 186 pounds, a little bit on the slim end, but that means he's got big end speed, so he can close. And certainly he's an asset, and Billy Edwards knows that he's his best. He's his blanket, that's for sure.
Fake to Ray.
Nice.
Edwards with the flip. Oh, what a big play to blow up that play at the 30-yard line. There was a blocker in front, but Shaquan Loyal, who's been all over the field, one of the top. In fact, they think he's the best pure tackler on the team, and he showed us there.
Yeah, here's it as a strong safety position, but lined up more like a linebacker. And watch him fend off this offensive lineman. How big is that? Shows the strength to get upfield, Chris, and then the close and complete that play. Outstanding job in open space by Shaquan Loyal.
Senior from Newark, New Jersey, now 3rd and 13, backed up to the 30.
Late pressure.
And
nice.
Rainbow to the end zone. Catch. Did he hold on and stay in? Nothing from the officials here. One official says no, out of bounds. Did he actually? That was for Caden Prather.
Well, you're going to see a lot of near misses like that. We've seen about 4 already. Shots in the end zone. Again, it's about completion. That they will take those deep shots because they understand that they can make them. They've got all the athleticism in the world, but you got to be able to convert. This ball is up high enough, puts Prather in a position where he can make it, and it does come out in the end. He does not complete the catch. You can see it. Lost control of it there. And there to let everybody in the world know it.
Well, yeah, he gave it all he had. Eric Rogers was on the coverage, just couldn't bring it in, and we have a timeout before the field goal try.
Maryland is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Well, that's not. They're going to lose that challenge. The ball was never. The catch was never completed, and you can see it loose and moving around out there, and not quite sure what they saw that we didn't. Locks is going to challenge it though.
They'll take a closer look. Certainly, we'll show you our best look. Ruled incomplete.
And the ball is up high, which is what you want in the back of the end zone, right?
So he's got it. Is he down? You don't really see it come out. Yeah, it looks like he's juggling it all the way, it appears.
He doesn't complete the catch. And maybe if you say, well, the ground can't cause a fumble, it's a touchdown there, you could say that. But on the other reverse angle we just looked at, you saw the ball coming out concurrent with his feet touching down. So I don't know how you overturn that.
Well, Michael Loxley must have gotten word from somebody to give that a shot. It was a beautiful looking play. It just wasn't completed at the end. Thus the challenge.
The ruling on the field of an incomplete pass is confirmed. Maryland's charged their first timeout, and they will have no challenges for the remainder of the game.
All right, Spencer, you were all over it right away.
Well, again, it's just one of the basic fundamental rules. You got to be able to complete the catch, right? And then it's not about, since you're in the end zone, about making a move or what we used to call a football move. That's irrelevant at this point. The ball was clearly out. The official saw it. He didn't complete it and control it. Incompletion.
The continuation, complete the process. So we're back to the 48-yard field goal try. Miss from 44 a moment ago did Jack Howells. There's a little bit of a breeze. The kick, he drills this, and last time he missed to the right. This time he nails it. And with just over 2 minutes to go here in the opening quarter, Maryland in a desperate win situation has a 3-0 lead. Tomorrow on Fox, great slate of NFL games. Catch NFC North rivals going head-to-head, the Packers and the Bears, or some will see out west, Seahawks 49ers coming your way tomorrow on Fox. Check for the game in your area. Speaking of NFL, Sean Merriman, the former Maryland star, played in the NFL, is here operating his 22nd annual Lights on Foundation coat drive at the stadium, and all day and through the first quarter people can donate any kind of coat, scarves, hats for those in need with cooler weather coming. Great cause and nice effort from him to keep that going. And for those at Maryland,
40,000 coats they've given away in the 22 years. I can't believe it's been 22 years, even more so the 40,000 coats during the winter months to help keep people warm. That's awesome.
A little chilly here, but not all that cold for a fall evening. Dremel is back and lets it sail through for the touchback. Well, you know, this defensive Maryland, this came in statistically, Spencer, worst pass defense in the Big Ten, giving up, 265 yards a game, and yet we have not been able to see Calec McManus or the Scarlet Knights offense take advantage.
And I'll tell you, it's because of when you look at the tape, you look at Maryland, they've got some athletes back there. They give up a lot of yards, there's no question about it. And it gets even more crazy, Chris, when you look at what KJ Duff and Ian Strong did last week. They were outstanding as receivers against a really tough Minnesota team.
Calec McManus 1 of 4. They hadn't had the ball a whole lot. Monangai, who got the start and has carried 3 times, is in, as Calec McManus will keep, and rarely does he run, but he does this time. Short of the first down, but an important pickup of 7 or 8 yards on first down.
Yeah, Brandon Lee, number 2 in that left cornerback position, had come down, and they'll play him at nickel sometimes as well. Calec McManus can run, and so they've got to keep one guy's eyeballs a set on him, and it may change from time to time. It may be a defensive back, Chris. It may be a linebacker. They may put even a spear, or what they call a cougar player, that's job is look at him. If he comes down, then track him, mirror him, go wherever he goes. In that particular case, it was Brandon Lee. Nice.
Monangai is smothered right away in the backfield as soon as he got the football. Shoved back around the 28-yard line.
Yeah. Watch Neo Avery, 0, right? And watch him disrupt this in the middle. He's playing what we call an off technique, and he just comes down the line of scrimmage and comes over and around. Number 0 gets into the backfield. If you really want to disrupt an offense, play on the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Excellent job at the run of attack there.
Third and 4. Calec McManus with a pass right on target for the first down, falling across the 40-yard line.
Just a 4-man rush on that one, and I think probably that was one of those cases where you may have wanted to bring pressure. If you're Brian Williams, you want to bring pressure in those scenarios because you've had success on the earlier downs.
And that was KJ Duff, the freshman, went to St. Anthony's High School in Long Island, same high school as Ian Strong, the sophomore, who's been so big. Those two, what a combo for Calec McManus.
And they're young too, Chris. They're going to be there for a while, making some noise at wide receiver for Graciano.
From just inside their own 40, the pass, a high throw, but hauled in right at midfield. Ian Strong with a strong catch, falling forward. He's signaling as if he has enough for the first, and they are moving the chain.
And that was pretty good defense by Judah Jenkins out there defending that. It's going to be a first down and move it up.
And that's the end of the opening quarter. Home team Terrapins with a 3-0 lead, but Rutgers is on the move. Welcome back to college football on FS1, sponsored by Hampton. Hampton by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Thanks for staying with us. First quarter statistics with Spencer Tillman, Chris Myers, and an important game for both of these teams. A win makes Rutgers bowl eligible, and with 3 conference games remaining in the Big Ten, Maryland knows they need to at least win 2 out of 3. On first down from midfield, keeping and tossing.
What a great defensive play.
Yeah, Miller had a lot of room to run.
Jalen Husky, the right cornerback, man, shows you he's got great speed and closing speed to come from that center field position. And it doesn't matter where you line up number 22. He's a great player. Watch him inside and out. Identify this one. You can see him standing up in the back. He drives on this ball, Chris, and comes up. Maybe you think that ankle is going to be taken away. No, this guy's got closing speed right there. He shows you that ability. The 6'1", 196-pound junior, he's outstanding, man.
From Frederick, Maryland, had 10 tackles against the top team in the country last week in that struggle against Oregon. Monangai the back after only a 3-yard pickup on a play that looked bigger than that. And he can't squeeze through, but he gets down around the 42. It'll be third, and they'll need a couple. This is the third drive in the game for Rutgers after a couple of punts. Their best so far as they go without a huddle. And I hear a whistle.
got an injured Terp down on the field, and that was the guy who just made the big play a minute ago.
Holding his hand. Looks like he's
timeout
in pain.
For an injured defensive player.
That is Jalen Husky, who we were just talking about. Started out as a corner, moved over to safety. As you said, wherever they play him, he's come up big.
Yeah, and Chris, he's just not a contributor. This guy's led the team with 3 interceptions, and along with Glendon Miller, they are stalwarts back there on that back end. They are not inconsequential players, and he's taking a walk to the inside to take a look at that hand.
Headed to the locker room. See who they slide in for him to complete that secondary. And it looks like Judah Jenkins, the freshman.
Now let's see if Kirk Ciarrocca takes a shot. The offensive coordinator takes a shot over on this right side. He's got a nice cover 2 look with a single safety. He may have a chance if he trusts it.
Kirk Ciarrocca, the offensive coordinator who was at Minnesota, helped bring Kelly McManus to Rutgers and hit, but he stays on his feet to get inside the 40 for the first down. Is Manangai.
Chris, Ethan McManus is dialed in. He wanted to take a shot at this one. He got out of it, called a play inside, and went to a run inside game. But for that pressure from in the inside, Daniel Wingate pushed it back. It probably would have been a positive play, but great job of discerning what the opportunity was and then getting out of what would have been a bad play. That safety was kind of baiting him into taking that shot on the perimeter, but he had a jump start on it.
Antoine Raymond checks in at running back. Right at the 40. Kelly McManus throwing, deep sideline throw, nothing open yet. And fighting for the ball at the goal line was Ian Strong, and the coverage of Lakai Rowland.
Well, that's what Kelly McManus wanted to do on the previous play. He wanted to take that shot, but it was in what we call a cover 1 look with a single high safety, and that safety was cheated over, and he was probably going to steal that route from him. But when it got really discernible, where he could clearly see that it was a 1 with the single safety over that side of the field, can't close that kind of water that quickly, so he decided to take a shot. That shows you that the guys got command of what they're trying to do offensively.
Yeah, we talked about the passing yards given up, and their coaching staff said it's been a learning curve. Major theme in that secondary, especially for this defense. And the throw on target, snatched that out of the air, just short of the first down. Makes it more manageable for a 4th down possibility.
Well, Johnson comes down, and watch him just pull that ball out of the air and just snatch it. It's an in-cut route. He doesn't have to go any further than that. He goes down and then does a great job of snatching that ball right out of the air.
What a play, blowing that up. That was Ben Black a moment ago, actually, on the catch. And now facing some problems here.
Yeah, DeAndre Johnson, again, I think was the one who ultimately made that catch in that previous.
Well, they switched. They made the announcement, Ben Black from number 2 to 81.
Ah, very good.
So just before the game, facing a 4th and 4, they're going for it. And let's see if they'll actually try and draw them off. Passing up a field goal try. A long try. Pass. He is caught in traffic and thrown down inside the 30 for a first down catch by Ian Strong.
Well, Ian Strong was strong on that play right there. It almost didn't happen, but again, that snap is coming and it's hot. And I don't think Kelly McManus really understood it was coming that fast. And it comes underneath on that shallow crossing route. And but for the fact that Strong is as big and rangy as he is, he doesn't make that first down. Physics plays a role in that particular play. Outstanding job of getting that one.
Yeah, Kelly McManus, nice throw, right on target. This drive, chewing up time, inching closer toward the goal line. Big 4th and 4 conversion. Manangai is back in the backfield now, helping to point some things out for his quarterback. He gets the football. Nice move inside the 25. Looked like he was going to get buried back there.
Manangai is outstanding. When you see a running back that can run with instinct.
On both teams.
everything looks like it should be there, and he's able to make you miss in traffic like that. He is what you call an eraser. There's a down terp on the field, but he can make a bad play really look good when he's able to stand up and make plays like that.
Well, and Greg Schiano told us that when Monangai, he said we might have a snap count to try and limit him, but if he's going to play in the game, he's a guy who just doesn't want to come out of there. That's Kobe Asamoah and Tajay Johnson, player injured from each side. 3-0 Maryland, but the Scarlet Knights with a drive of more than 6 minutes so far. And look, they've had to kind of inch their way on 4th down. A couple of tries, 3rd down, they've converted. Monangai, Greg Schiano said, we'd love to have him. We can't force. It was an upper body injury that he missed last week's game, which was a big game for Kaliakmanis in that win over Minnesota to end the 4-game slide.
And the inside story is that they're stealing possessions away from Maryland, who's been down to the doorstep a couple of times, only had to settle for a field goal.
The catch made, but an excellent tackle. That was Monangai, who couldn't get upfield to get toward the sticks. So the defense of Maryland that had its problems, it was Trey Reddick helping out the freshman from Hampton, Virginia, on that tackle. Has been tough. Now a 3rd and 2. Here comes a flag.
Illegal snap. Offense, number 59. 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
Okay, so the 3rd accepted penalty on the team. Again, it's worth repeating because it's such an honor to be the least penalized team in the country in terms of yardage. 2nd most actual penalties called. And
you know when it's called on the center, the offensive linemen think they're the smartest people in the house, right? Always, but you don't expect it to be the center that makes the mistake.
Now 3rd and 7. The pass caught, and to the 15-yard line is Ian Strong. 2nd leading receiver on the team, was recruited as a defensive back, slid to receiver, and at 6'3", playing some outstanding football.
One of the 2nd-year play out of Santa Anthony, man. All 6'3" of them. You've seen him on the edges, and we've seen him now underneath, not unafraid to go in that high traffic area. Usually those guys kind of get a little high, high heels and fuchsia pumps on when they start stepping in that middle of the field, man. They're concerned about getting hit.
Yes, tough to run in those. 4th catch of the game for Strong, all on this drive, and that one incomplete toward the pylon. Again, Ian Strong was the target. He had a 4-catch game last week, good for 89 yards and a touchdown. Averaging just under 18 yards per catch. So a big play guy for a guy that stands big and tall.
Well, so far, this game is turning just the antithesis of what we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a high-scoring affair. Again, Maryland has had a number of chances down here, had to settle, but Greg Schiano's got his team stealing possessions from him, and with maybe one positive effort to get in the end zone, they can have a lead here.
Each team has been aggressive going on 4th down. We just haven't seen a lot of downfield pass success, and the keeper, like Kaliakmanis, brought down around the 12.5-yard line. Ruben Hippolyte, who's on the Butkus watch list, who leads the team in tackles, made sure that Kaliakmanis didn't get any further upfield.
And Judah Jenkins involved in that tackle as well, number 21. Those two combining together. Great duo back here. Let's see how they continue to do as they navigate in this constricted place that we call the red zone. It's really tough to make plays down here. Execution comes at a premium, Chris.
3rd down 7. A tipping point here in this first half. If they get enough, they're likely to go on 4th. If they don't get the first, the throw, end zone throw, touchdown, Scarlet Knights, Demir Miller. Make that Ian Strong on the touchdown catch.
And Chris, he just worked Perry Fisher, did an unbelievable job of working him on the edge. Watch him go up front. Ian Strong is going to push this route and then force him to turn his hips. And once he gets Fisher's hip turn, then he's inside and created that separation. That long body gets in there, and he's not going to miss that one in the end zone. That's money.
Strong with his 3rd touchdown catch of this season from 13 yards away, and the extra point. What a drive from Rutgers. 75 yards. Extra point is good. 8 minutes 45 seconds off the clock. And what a strong performance from the offense of the Scarlet Knights. Friday night on Fox, a Big Ten shootout at primetime as Purdue takes on Michigan State. The action beginning at 8 Eastern, and you'll see it on Fox. That drive for Rutgers, their longest of the year in terms of time, 8 minutes 45 seconds, and plays 17. And Strong was the hero with 5 catches for 46 yards, and of course the touchdown on the end of that for Kaliakmanis, his 13th touchdown pass of the season.
And Chris, it was an excellent route against Perry Fisher, the cornerback, who he influenced it strong on his release to open his hips and to defend the outside, and then that gave him just enough space to come back underneath that with that single safety a distance away. Boy, that's what you want. That's complementary offense.
7 targets, 5 catches in the game for Ian Strong, but let's see how Maryland responds after moving the ball, as you pointed out, settling for field goal tries, missing on one and hitting on the other.
Well, we know that Maryland has got big strike capability, right? But they have to complete the execution. That's been a theme. You've heard us talk about it ad nauseum, but that is really the problem for this offense. They've struggled to complete on the execution. It's either one player, a quarterback, or receiver not running the proper route. Ball placement that doesn't allow him versus man coverage to get by himself upfield. They've got to get it all working in tandem.
Billy Edwards on the move. The pass complete short of the 30-yard line. That's Dylan Wade, the tight end. Ty Felton is back out on the field for the Maryland offense.
Yeah, Chris, one thing is clear for me. Maryland, they're going to have to win this game in the margins, and it sounds ironic to say that because they've got so much offense available to them, but it's going to come down to, again, envision this. You've got man coverage, and you are to the wide side of the field. The ball needs to be placed on my outside shoulder, so when I turn upfield, I've got nothing but grass to contend with. Nice job. That's exactly what I'm talking about, but you got to be accurate.
Going for Wade again, who looked like he had a step or two toward the sideline.
No question, you got it, but again, it was the combination of pressure that affected the throw, and that's the difference maker right there. Joe, Erasmi, active defensive coordinator, brought pressure, and that's what caused the ball to be thrown a little bit quicker, and it affected the execution.
Yeah, Dariel Jabome, who's one of 7 Canadians on this Rutgers team. DJ, they call him, outstanding pressure there. And has been a big-time player, leads the team in tackles. On a 3rd down, trouble coming, but he floats one perfectly. And he gets the first down catch across the 40. Prather is still moving. Check that spot before he is run out of bounds, but a big 3rd down play.
And Chris, here's a little secret for you. This is a little bit of Kevin Sumlin's influence on this system. He's an analyst now here. This is air raid concepts. You got those crossing routes underneath. You see those receivers going from side to side like that. That is a new wrinkle that this offense has really developed and integrated in what they're doing offensively with Kevin Sumlin's influence there.
Pick up a 16 yards all the way up to the 45-yard line. Nolan Ray in at running back for the Terps. Fake to him and firing down the middle of the field and knocked away at the last moment. Felton was the target. The coverage pretty good back there. Masco, sophomore from Kissimmee, Florida, and a flag down.
Yeah, that's going to come late, but big to pick Malcolm Ray, the defensive. Watch number 9, the arm.
Defense, number 21. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
The call was on Al-Shadi Salam. He said number 21. I mean to interrupt your explanation.
No,
there.
It's all right. Malcolm Ray got in there and affected that throw.
But it puts him at the 45, and another similar-looking play. Nolan Ray hauls that in before he's run out of bounds. It's a big shot down the middle. first. Under 7 minutes to go before the half.
Well, Moscow getting in there and involved in it. But again, right now what they're doing, Maryland is painting the football field, Chris, from left to right, putting pressure on all points and making Rutgers defend the total breadth and width of the field. Locks is calling a great game right now. Now they're advancing the ball, but can they close once they get inside the red area? That's the question.
Hemby is back in. Surprised they're not giving him the ball more. He's only got 8 carries and is averaging 6 a pop tonight.
We'll unpack what constitutes balance for them. And it's really not about an equal amount of running plays. It's about what can we do when we need to do it. If we need a run like this.
And what a big run from Hemby, working his way down to the 26-yard line of Rutgers.
It's when we need to run, can we do what we need to do in that situation? Balance is not about an equal number of passes and runs. It's okay, they're in this front. They're giving us the edge because of the reduced end. Can we get to the edge? We're going to ask number 71, Alan Herron, the right tackle, to reach that guy, and he does an excellent job of sealing off that outside and allow Herron to get to that edge.
Pick up a 15 yards, a healthy chunk to actually spot him back at the 27. Go back to him and straight up the middle. Tough yards near another first down is Roman Hemby.
Oh, just putting pressure on the external with the stretch play and then come back inside internal. I would not be surprised if he comes back with something to the left here to make this Rutgers defense once again defend the total width of the field and then play the leverage game at this point, because you've really struggled, Chris, once you got down here in the red area.
Yeah, and Hemby, his last couple of games and head-to-head against Rutgers have been outstanding. Last year, 113 rush yards. And the year before, he had 3 touchdowns against the Scarlet Knights. And 70-plus yards so far on the receiving end. And he's brought down around the 11-yard line. There's a hole there, but it closed in a hurry after he made the catch.
They're working on Bo Moscow, that right cornerback, that he's getting tired of tackling him, man.
And we have an injured player, and it's Shaquan Loyal, who has been very active. He's played a heck of a game here in this first half.
They can ill afford to lose him. He's a physical player, smart player in the back, one of the spirited guys that supports him.
Take a quick timeout, step away. Hope he's all right. And that is Shaquan Loyal, who was injured on the field a moment ago. Checking on him. You know, Greg Schiano said he's never seen anything like it in all of his years of coaching. So many injuries. They've lost season-ending injuries. We're talking about 8 players that are either starters or major contributors. You see the list coming in, and you count games. It's more than 70 games missed playing time by starters or major contributors. And that 4-game slide, not an excuse, just part of the effect. And then the win last week to snap out of it. And still, a win here would make them bowl eligible, but they need a stop. And for the end zone, grabbing it and hauling it in is Ty Felton, and that's a Maryland touchdown. Boy, he was backpedaling, had to grab the ball, keep his feet in, and he did.
Well, that was a Fred Astaire move if I've ever saw it. I'm not quite so sure. Listen, I think he got his feet in, but those feet were really dancing, man. Tap-stepping. I'm telling you, he looked like Baryshnikov on that side over there. Watch him turn around and then high point this ball. He's looking for it. Boom, boom. I don't know if that back leg. Now, if you're going to challenge something, if you're Rutgers, maybe that one. Well, that one is all you need.
All you need.
Yeah, that's it. He got 1.5 and a big toe out, so he's in more than in.
Possession of the football and touchdown. What a toss. And remember, he left checking that lower foot, that ankle injury, came back out and grabs a score to give Maryland the lead. The Terps answer the Rutgers touchdown drive with one of their own. You talked about these quarterbacks. They're starting to heat up a little bit, each with a touchdown pass. Billy Edwards Jr. had to put that right in that corner for Felton, his 7th touchdown grab of the season and the 15th touchdown toss for Edwards.
And I don't know, Chris, if this is just a personality trait of this team or not, but once provoked, that's when they seem to come alive, right? Make plays. You got to provoke them. They're young. Lots of a lot of things to say about this team.
Jerseys to number 98. Number 8 is now wearing number 98.
a jersey swap. But that's a good point. Remember, Greg Schiano said, look, they're like a wounded animal. You're talking about Maryland backed into a corner, and we expect them to come out fighting. I don't know what a terrapin wounded, if they're any angrier, but usually tortoises, they're slow moving, but this is a quick moving team when Michael Locksley needs them to do so. And you're right, they responded, push a little. They were patient, but then all of a sudden, once they were behind, it's like, let's go after them, and they did.
Yeah, there's one thing about those turtles, though, man. When you get close to their food, when they snap, they are quick as a hiccup, man. I'm telling you, they're slow and methodical, but once they strike, they come fierce.
A snapping tortoise, and this will be a touchback. Rutgers will have all 3 timeouts, just over 4.5, and we'll have the 2-minute timeout as well. So after kind of checking each other out in the first quarter, defense is strained a little by the passing attacks of both of these teams.
Well, Mike Locksley, in our time with him, was quick to dismiss any thought about recent history in terms of their dominance over this Rutgers Scarlet Knight team. And he says, look, it has nothing to do with what we're dealing with now. We got a different quarterback, different system, different players, and all that other stuff. But I tell you what, the disposition of this young team seems to be one that needs to be provoked before they respond.
Antoine Raymond, the freshman from Canada, is in at running back. Callie McManus with plenty of time and wide open. The catch made. That's Dymere Miller. Check that flag. If it's good, it's his 3rd catch of the game.
To your point, partner, it was the protection that allowed him, while they discuss and unpack what's happening over there, for him to get open.
I could not
Personal foul. Horse collar tackle. Defense, number 22. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
That's Tyreen Powell, number 22, and that's actually it's not.
Jalen Husky back out there.
Jalen Husky,
who had gone to the locker room and had come back out, Spencer, and going to call a horse collar. And he's shaking his head. Our rules analyst. Agrees with you, Spencer. Did not look like a horse collar. Mike Pereira watching and observing as well, but that's the call. Moves the ball inside the 40. Monangai on the carry.
Well, irrespective of how they got the yardage, just coming and giving Rutgers an opportunity to get back and answer the answer on the part of Maryland.
It was already a big play to Miller. Miller and Strong have combined for 8 catches so far tonight. Monangai has carried 8 times, has yet to get it going, averaging just over 3 a carry. More than 2 below his season average. And this is his first game back off the injury. And from the pocket.
Good protection.
And another on target throw, but he couldn't hold it inside the 20-yard line. That was Strong. Coverage was tight. It'll be 3rd down and 9.
Well, great man coverage on the back end. I'm really seeing the athleticism come and then contest these balls at the point when it reaches the receiver. And they're doing an excellent job on the back end. Jalen Husky and company, all of those guys dynamic in coverage.
Schiano eyeing the situation. If you pick up enough, likely to go on 4th down. They've shown that already. See where they need to get to that 29-yard line marker for the first down. And from the pocket, he steps up. Callie McManus on the move. Throws. Catch made. Kept his feet in. Good toe work on that sideline. Dymere Miller, senior from Pennsylvania, made sure you have just double checking the feet, but they go without a huddle here to make sure that can't be looked at. Looked like his feet were in.
Nice flow.
Monangai, quarterback out in front. Callie McManus looked like he was thinking about blocking, then he just kind of got in the way.
He did that last week against Minnesota, yes. Chris. Unbelievable job of Callie McManus showing you when you've got a running back that's creative enough to come back and flow. He can become a lead blocker. You can see him kind of get into his Academy Award-winning act of kind of standing in front of the would-be tackler so as to draw the attention but not the infraction. Excellent job by the quarterback getting involved without sacrificing much.
Spotted at the 13-yard line. Excuse me, the 18-yard line. Need to get down inside the 15 for a first down. So it's second down 4. Mananga gets right to the 15. It'll bring up third down. Only need about a yard as the clock runs. Rutgers likely to take it to the 2-minute timeout. We also have an injured player. That's Logan Blake, Rutgers tight end they're checking on.
To 2 minutes and 9 seconds. We have a timeout for an injured defensive player. Thank you.
All right, clarification on that from our referee Brian Banks. The injury they spotted before it ran down, so they want to put time back on the clock. And as they check on him, we've already had a number of injuries in this first half. So we thought we'd see more points, but it looks like the offenses are making it happen a little bit. Not exactly big plays, but big enough to keep the chains moving.
Well, I think Rutgers is within the character kind of framework of what they do, right? This is what they do, although they've shown the capacity with those long, wide receivers of making plays downfield. That's not their attitude. They are more a ball control team with their best running back out of the mix. We thought their 2 backups would have to play well for them to have the kind of success that they're having. But they're having some success being consistent. In the meantime, still in possessions away from Maryland, who has big strike capability. Once again, just can't complete those executed plays.
And the Rutgers offense, which is on the move at the moment, the defense, they use that off week to prepare and have their best game despite all the injuries against Minnesota, and holding up rather well against this Maryland offense tonight as well.
They really are. And I think the thing is, when you find yourself and your backup is against the wall, you got the maximum motivation scenario to do your best work, right? You come in here if you're Rutgers and it's a wrong game for you. You get a team that's also in a similar situation. You know it's going to be a physical matchup. It's just about declaring what you are. I mean, these people are going to see them for many years to come, and they're known quantity, and so are you. It's a great time to mark your territory.
Yeah, and not that far away, about a 3-hour drive. And Greg Schiano, it's a building, a budding rivalry, if you want to call it that. We mentioned that Maryland's won the last 3. And by the way, the Terrapins are set to receive the ball to start the second half. Rutgers would like to work this clock down, and now they're going to run the clock. And we hope that Logan Blake is okay, and they want to take it down to the 2-minute timeout with all 3 of their own timeouts.
The 2-minute timeout.
One thing that Maryland does not want to do is to allow Rutgers to get a full touchdown or more lead, because Greg Schiano can protect the lead. He knows how to play the brand of football that will steal time off the clock like he's demonstrated already tonight, and he's just that good of a coach. I've got fewer respect for more coaches, for less coaches. That guy right there, he's at the top of the list. He's an apex predator when it comes to the great ones in the game.
2-minute timeout on a 3rd down 2. Rutgers trailing, but with the football. Quick timeout.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime before next week's showdown with Indiana, Ohio State face Northwestern. Number 3 Texas in an old school Southwest Conference battle at Arkansas. And Colorado continues their Big 12 title game push, and Travis Hunter striking that pose right now, Chris and Spencer. See you at the half.
You look pretty good there, Mike. I look forward to that. That's coming up. And this looks like an interesting call on 3rd and 2. And a timeout used by Rutgers. They will have 2 remaining. I don't know if they wanted to get a look at the defense, if that was they were going into a brotherly shove, or the Eagles tush push, whatever you want to call the Rutgers version of that.
Now, usually when you want to get a look at the call or the setup, you get into a formation that you think they're going to get into or defend. That looked like more just an opportunity to try to pull them off sides and get a cheap penalty.
It's only 3rd down, and they need 2.
I like the philosophy, though. If you got the timeouts right, you got 2 minutes, might as well use them any possible way you can. It's just another one of the ways that you can affect a team with the discipline. You know that they're one of the more penalized teams in the league. I like the thought. They're going to get into that same formation.
In field goal range, if they choose that, depending on whether they make this or not.
I think it's going to be a first down.
They're
close,
not,
huh?
They're not giving it to him, and the clock is running. It's fourth down. So, all right, now they're going to line up with the same type of play and the shove forward, but they waved this off, the official with the whistle here. Did they allow the snap? It looked like Schiano was headed.
The officials were not in position to officiate the play. It's fourth down, and we'll have the play now.
You certainly don't like that if you're Greg Schiano and Rutgers. You know, you can use pace and tempo as a tactical advantage, and that's what the idea was, and the officials need to be ready for that.
Yeah, that's why he set up the first play, and now they get a second.
Holy cow.
A second look at it. Boy, what a surge. They got it.
They got it, but I would be livid if they wouldn't have gotten it, because the officials should be ready. They gave him plenty of lead time to understand what they were trying to do from a scheme standpoint, and that they were not ready is inexcusable. That's untenable.
Yeah, Schiano tried to take advantage, a little coaching edge there with setting up that formation and then running it back to back, and the quickness of it after getting that initial look on the timeout. As the clock runs, 1:15, 2 timeouts each. Incomplete in the end zone. Strong, the target. Here comes a flag. It was Kevis Thomas on the coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. That foul occurred in the end zone. The ball will be placed to the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
Well, Kevis is probably guilty of not turning around, Chris, here getting his back so as to remove all doubt about his position, right? Chicken fighting. He still got his hand on the left shoulder pad. And again, it looked like a great technical effort on the back end of it, but it was just that left hand grabbing that white jersey. Officials saw that immediately.
If he had turned around, he might have had a shot. First of all, avoid the penalty and maybe intercept that ball or knock it away. Monangai hit hard, rolling toward the goal line, and in for a Scarlet Knight touchdown. Kyle Monangai is back and picks up 6 here.
Chris, this is all about physics, right? The guy is 5'9", 209. And he gets underneath your pads, and that's the reason why he's so successful against this 4-man front. Those guys are close and tight in there. The linebackers are unaccounted for, but yet Monangai uses physics to get in that thing, and he does a wonderful job at it. Question as to whether or not he would be playing today. He's dispelled all those. This guy right here is contributing big time.
Patel on to try the extra point. Make it a 4-point advantage here for Rutgers with just over a minute to play before the break. Monangai with his 11th rushing touchdown this season, his 11th carry of this game. They've held him in check much of the game, but he worked his way into the end zone to give Rutgers the advantage.
This is their second 75-yard drive, and once again, Chris, they're still in possession. Greg Schiano's one of the best to be able to do that. He can protect the lead with this thing now. So, and we haven't even seen the wide receivers who just really torched Minnesota. Once you get Ian Strong going, yes, he's been effective. And then KJ Duff opposite of him. I think dealing with the success of number 5 is going to open up the opportunity for the wide receivers to do some things on the big end. Then they become a complete team.
1,000-yard rusher last year. Last year led the Big Ten in rushing. Monangai has been a steady force. That's his first career touchdown against Maryland in the rivalry that has developed again with the Terrapins winning the last 3 head-to-head.
If they can get him some more success running within the possessions, then he will affect the defense, and then that's when the offense can really open up.
Hesitating, Smith was ready to bring that out of the end zone, and that
was close.
Could have been trouble. It's a good thing he checked where his feet were, but plenty of time here for Billy Edwards and the Maryland offense. Ty Felton already over 1,000 yards. See where he ranks the FBS among the leaders this season.
Chris, I think it's fair to say I think they've underwhelmed today. And again, it's been a consistent theme that they've had to deal with. We know they have the talent. They just struggle with the execution. And here now, until their backs were pressed up against the wall, we didn't see them really step up, and now they're beginning to.
Edwards out of the pocket with a lot of room and dives forward near a first down. Remember, they lost a timeout on a challenge early that didn't go their way. He's just short of the first, but they're hustling to snap that and go. And he's going to take the first down. More room, try to put a move on. Tackled across the 40. And they need to use a timeout. Looks like
he took a shot.
Yeah, he's hurting there. Aaron Lewis came in.
Timeout for an injured defensive player. There is no option for a 10-second runoff as the first down was gained by the offense.
Yeah, that's Lewis on the tackle. He said defensive player, but I'm worried about the quarterback here, Billy Edwards Jr. "35 seconds, and we haven't had an official charge of where this timeout is going. The helmet is off on Billy Edwards.
Well, he's going to have to come out again, at least for one play. So Locks has got to figure out what they're going to do with these remaining seconds that they have. 35 seconds. You can get off 2 plays for sure with that amount of time, perhaps maybe more. But if it's not your starting quarterback in there, Morris may be the guy that comes in, and they'll find a way to get that done. Got to have your head in the game.
MJ Morris, who this season has attempted 13 passes, redshirt sophomore. And he comes in at quarterback for the moment. No timeout charge, so still 2 for Maryland from the 40. And on first down, set to throw. Hit as he throws. And the signal incomplete from the official, calling it an incomplete pass.
It'd be nice from Desmond, the nickel back. Watch him come, number 4. On the late delay, comes in there and gets his helmet right on him, man, and affects that pass coming out. That's one of the problems with a guy who's just coming off the bench and you're asking him to throw the ball downfield. He's not acquainted with who's protecting and where pressure's coming from.
27 seconds. Number 7's helmet came off, so we must go off for 1 play.
Well, it's a good thing Billy Edwards is ready to come back in, because Morris lost his helmet, so he goes back out. And they've reset the clock to 27 seconds, still 2 timeouts after the incompletion. Edwards throw, and he can't get out of bounds. That's Dylan Wade, and he looks like he's short of the first down, and the clock is running here.
They're going to burn one.
Yeah, they should, because I don't know why he didn't head out of bounds, but they'll have 1 timeout remaining.
Well, they'll take another 3-quarter field shot. Locks has got an opportunity to make that throw, and then he's still got a timeout to burn. They'll do that final one and then get the ball out of bounds, and maybe they will be within maybe 48 yards or so.
At the very least, maybe get in field goal range. Again, Maryland to get the ball to start the second half. Let's take a look at the current Big Ten standings, sponsored by Discover.
Are you shocked at what Indiana's done? They've been impressive, man.
It's fun to watch. And Oregon, as you said, no moral victories, but last week in Maryland losing to them, but there are progressive steps in defeat sometimes, and they felt they took some. But Ohio State up there, Penn State, of course, Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, down year for the Wolverines.
And the newcomers struggling, of course, UCLA and USC. And it's a kind of a reoccurring theme. Maybe the outlier being Texas in another conference in the SEC.
Hemby will get the first down. And they're going to have to use a spike to stop the clock. I was going to mention that USC game. That was a big win for Maryland. That 4th quarter, the way the Terps played in that game, talking about how USC and UCLA have had some of their issues.
Yeah, that's an image and impression win. We now know UCLA and USC for that matter is not necessarily, it was more of a gilded program, and there wasn't true gold underneath that, at least this year anyway. But the brand is still significant, and that was a big-time win for Locks and this Maryland Terps team, and that's something they can leverage.
So 14 seconds, one timeout. Field goal range, well, you've missed from 44 and have made one as well. They dump it off. Hamby's going to slip out of bounds with 10 seconds remaining.
Well, I still think he's got another shot, one more play, and that'll give him about 3 seconds remaining if they handle their business and manage the clock well. They're on the short side of the field. They'll set up on that left hash, and they'll have plenty of opportunity to get in there.
Yeah, Howell's made, Spencer, from 48 yards. He was wide right, kicked kind of a liner from 44 that missed, but it did have enough leg from the 42. And we have a whistle. And Rutgers took the timeout.
Timeout, Rutgers.
So you need to pick up at least, you're right now looking at about a 60-yarder. Howell's long is 46 yards.
That was a heck of a deep call on the part of Greg Schiano, though, to understand the context of the situation, to get powwow with his defensive coordinator, to defend what they need to, maybe even consider the leg strength of your kicker and what you've got to do to protect. Hook, flat, curl routes, got to pin all of that down, because that's what's going to allow them to get in field goal range.
His career long is a 49-yarder. That was in the Music City Bowl last year, and this year he hit a 46-yarder. But yeah, Schiano's used those timeouts rather well, both offensively and defensively, in strategic, non-obvious points. But you're going to need to pick up 10 to 15 to give your kicker a legitimate shot if you're Maryland.
Nice.
Edwards' throw is knocked away and almost intercepted. Target was Octavian Smith, and Masco was all over it.
That was beautiful timing too, to keep his body separated and clean so as to not to draw a flag in this crucial place on the field.
So now maybe you try a Hail Mary.
Got to.
And they're dropping three safeties back inside the 5-yard line. Rutgers doesn't want to take any chances. Rutgers will use
timeout, Rutgers.
Their last timeout.
This is the old special teams coming out in Greg Schiano. I know it's defense, but he's got to get those guys back defending. So they have 3 and a center fielder, which was a back. You need more of a hybrid body back there, somebody who's more athletic, who can prevent that little Hail Mary pass from getting in the end zone and flooding the field with receivers who will turn around and high point that thing, because they've got some length over here as well.
And there's always the chance of pass interference. I mean, that's obviously what set up the Rutgers go-ahead touchdown. You get something here, you get a chance to try a field goal to end the half. They still do have that one timeout, does Maryland, but just 6 seconds remain. Just beyond the 42 of Rutgers. Edwards, it's a quick throw and an excellent tackle inbounds on Felton. And I don't know if that was longer beam. So 2 seconds and timeout Maryland if they're going to actually try a field goal. Looks like that was 4th down, so they did not get the 1st down, and that will bring an end to this half here. Longer beam, by the way, best cover guy in that secondary for Rutgers. Remember Max Melton, who did so well for the time that he was part of the Scarlet Knights, onto the NFL and is playing well for the Arizona Cardinals, having a terrific season. So they failed to get the first, failed to get in field goal range. However, Maryland will have a chance when they start the second half. Not sure that went as well as the Terrapins, considering the timeouts of the situation, but it's a good half for Rutgers on the road against a team that they've had trouble with the last 3 years. The touchdown by Kyle Monangai has put them out in front of Loxley and the Terps. After the break, we're going to send it to our LA studio with Mike Hill, Emmanuel Acho, and Chris Peterson.
Welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Inside our Los Angeles studios, Mike Hill along with Emmanuel Acho and Chris Peterson. Of course, we'll get you back out for the second half between Rutgers and Maryland very shortly. But first, we got to get these guys caught up on other action around the country. It's our State Farm halftime highlights. And how about highlights when we talk about Colorado, number 17 in the nation, controlling his own destiny, taking on Utah in that dynamic duel.
Every time they needed a play, they showed up and made one collectively as a team. Travis Hunter right now proving why he's one of, if not the best player in college football. Double team goes up and gets it.
28 yards from Shedeur Sanders right there. That was set up this. Sanders to Will Shepherd, who had a couple of touchdowns on the day. Colorado up 21-9, and then they would pour it on. Up 18. Trick play, Travis Hunter. Look at him.
And you can see what makes him so special. This was supposed to be a reverse pass, throwing it back to Shedeur. Travis sees he's covered, improvises, and does what he does best, just make plays. T.O.
loves it. Strike that pose, brother. You should be the front runner. 49-24, Colorado wins again. As we look at Travis Hunter, like we haven't seen anybody like this in a long time. The total snaps, receiving yards, touchdown, and interception. He did get burned on one touchdown today, but, once again, he's human.
He's human. It might make him better just to show he is human on all the other plays he does make.
Our Big Noon kickoff crew, they are not human, but they are great. Rob Stone and the Big Noon kickoff crew with more from both.
Thanks, Mike. So 17th ranked Colorado ends a 7-game skid to Utah. They remain second place in the Big 12 and keep their college football playoff hopes alive. What'd you learn about the Buffs today?
This is exactly what you're looking for if you're Coach Prime. You had all three phases show up today. A punt return for a touchdown. Kickoff coverage was great. The defense, 4 turnovers today. Really stood up in the red zone at times, too. And then offensively, Coach Shedeur Sanders was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's the best quarterback coming out for the NFL draft. What's amazing to me, Mark, is he's a better quarterback on the move. The offense line at times gives pressure. When he breaks that pocket, we saw him live today. I'm watching him saying, I can't wait to see what happens next. He stays alive, keeps his eyes down the field. He's the best quarterback I've seen on the move in a long time.
Listen to me, and listen to me good. Travis Hunter is the best player in college football.
Just go. Take the rest.
I love the man, and he is balling, and he is shot calling. He had a rush TD today. He had an interception today. He played 132 plays today. He is the real deal, and he has my vote right now and tomorrow, too. Travis Hunter for Heisman. Let's go.
Good luck, Matt. Follow that one.
But just keep going. Just go. We got like 20 seconds left.
You got it.
Okay. The playmakers stepped up. We know Travis. We know Shedeur. The defense was phenomenal. You're going to need a full team to make a run, Coach, at a Big 12 championship game. Shepherd, Wester, Miller, obviously Travis Hunter were phenomenal today.
Yeah. 405 yards of total offense against the #1 defense in the Big 12. Up next for Coach Prime, a road trip out to Kansas, Arrowhead Stadium, next Saturday live on Fox.
Fellas, let's give credit what credit is due. This was a 1-win team 2 years ago. Now they've won 8 games, control their own destiny in the Big 12. What impressed you the most about this team today?
I think we can get blinded by the bling, so to speak.
Yeah.
I keep going back to this defense. It's so, they just the whole team keeps improving. But this team had 3 interceptions, 1 fumble, 4 total turnovers. They sacked him 4 times, 9 tackles for losses. They held Utah, who's a rushing team, to 10 yards of rushing offense. And so I think that's the thing that impresses me the most is, one, they all continue to get better. It's fun to watch Shedeur and the receivers. They improve. Mm-hmm. But this defense is getting better and better, playing with more confidence. And as we always say, have defense, will travel.
Always.
They showed the ability to get themselves out of a ditch. In football, you'll find yourselves in bad situations. Coach preaches on it brilliantly all the time. 3rd and 23, second possession of the game. You are in a ditch. Score 0-0. Utah's playing you tight. Okay, you pick up 17, 18 yards. Now it's 4th and 6. You go for it. Touchdown. Okay, now the score, I believe, is 28 or so to 19 point. 28 to 16. Utah's driving, trying to make it a competitive game. Colorado 3 and out. Next time, 7 plays offensively for Colorado. Touchdown. Anytime Colorado found themselves in a ditch, whether self-inflicted or because of credit to Utah, they got themselves out of a ditch. You might find yourself in a ditch versus Kansas. You might find yourself in a ditch versus Oklahoma State. Can you get yourself out of it? They proved they could.
It's good to have a guy like Travis Hunter just to throw the ball up to and get you out of any kind of situations you might be in. Shedeur Sanders has accounted for at least 3 touchdowns in 8 straight games, over 300 yards passing once again. Hey, you can catch Colorado in action again next weekend. Buffs take on Kansas, as you mentioned. That's at 3:30 Eastern. That's next Saturday on Fox. More highlights. Ohio State getting ready for its big matchup against Indiana next week. At Wrigley today to take on Northwestern and Quinshon Judkins.
It's a lot of red in that stadium.
Yeah, man. Ohio State travels. Tying the game at 7. Buckeyes would roll from there. Will Howard, Jeremiah Smith.
Oh, he fit that ball in there. Nice, Arch.
That's perfect. See how he does against Indiana's defense. Because Indiana's defense is pretty good, too. Just the offense, the best point differential in the nation. That's going to be a good matchup. Carnell Tate back in Chicago. 2 touchdowns on the day. Ohio State rolls 31-7. And speaking of that, next Saturday, big noon kickoff to the Horseshoe. Huge top 5 matchup I've been talking about. Ohio State undefeated Indiana. And you won't want to miss the Black Keys, Coach's favorite group, performing live from Columbus. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox. I think Acho has a couple of their albums, too. Number 3, Texas, Acho.
So the Black Keys. Yeah, of course, Mike. I downloaded them before work this morning. Shout out to Quinn Ewers and Steve Sarkisian on the play design right here. Great job with the double move versus cover 4 defense. But Arkansas, they stayed in it, Coach, all game long. They were resilient.
There is no easy outs in the SEC.
So they got Kentucky, they got Texas A&M coming up. What concerns do you have with Texas right now?
Quinn Ewers, he's too up and down. If for an elite football program, you need elite quarterback play, and he has not been elite long enough. That's my fear.
Texas wins 20-10. We'll talk more about that on the show. Number 20, Clemson at Pitt. 4 minutes left in the fourth, tied at 17. Nate Yarnell sacked by D. Creighton. But Pat Narduzzi, he wants a penalty, and good reason why.
Did you say sacked or almost decapitated?
Almost, yeah. At the refs look at it, they call it a personal foul. Narduzzi loves it. Dabo, not so much. Led to a go-ahead field goal. But Cade Klubnik, great through the air, but this was the best play he made all day.
Really was. I mean, give that kid a lot of credit. He makes plays every game.
Clemson leads it 24-20. Let's go back to Texas. Talk about some of the concerns that they got. Once again, Kentucky, Texas A&M. What concerns you the most? You talked about Quinn Ewers. How is he straightened up before the end of the season, getting into the SEC championship?
Biggest concern for me, Quinn Ewers plays too many games. Just too many Like, how did Quinn play? He played all right. Yeah. Okay. He doesn't play enough elite games. Florida last week, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Today, played real I mean, shout out to Steve Sarkisian, brilliant play designs, but Quinn Ewers, as one of the greatest players coming out of high school, is supposed to go to college at Texas and dominate more often than not. And he's played too many shoulder shrug caliber games. Quinn has to get hot towards the end of the season if Texas wants to make the run they are capable of making. Oklahoma was meh. Georgia was meh. Arkansas was meh. Florida, phenomenal. He has to play phenomenal more often, Coach. That's what Texas needs.
Are you saying there's too many cats? Meow.
That's what he's saying.
You're looking for a dog?
Some dogs. Want no cats? Meow. I love that. That was a great soundbite.
I'll tell you what I like about Texas is their defense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're underrated. They don't have those big, flashy names like the Ocho brothers back in the day, but they play connected, and a connected defense is a dangerous defense. They get turnovers, they get sacks. And so if that offense is off a little bit and not scoring the points that we think they should, the defense is going to get something done for them. So this is going to be a dangerous team because they do have the potential to be really good on offense as well.
So he's saying U.S. is meow, but the defense is some dogs. There's some dogs getting at it. All right, we'll see what they do the rest of the way. All right, tomorrow is an NFC North rivalry game. Jordan Love and the Packers take on Caleb Williams and the Bears, or the Seahawks battle the Niners in an NFC West matchup, or other regional action. Check your local listings for the game in your area tomorrow on Fox. Second half between Rutgers and Maryland coming your way.
Here in College Park, Maryland, a couple of touchdown passes from each of the quarterbacks in this game. Ian Strong and Ty Felton making secure catches to help their team, but Kyle Monangai, his touchdown run has the Scarlet Knights out in front at the break, and a win makes them bowl eligible. Spencer Tillman, Chris Myers, thanks for hanging with us in this Big Ten bash. What have you seen in the first half that really has been the separation between these two teams?
Well, people get offended when you say a quarterback's a steward of a system, right? It means he's not outstanding. He has been outstanding. McManus has done what he's needed to do. Here's an 8-yard run, for example. Watch him, a la Tiki Barber, high and tight, carrying it, right? That's what he needed to do. Nothing exceptional, but when they asked him to throw the ball, he was pinpoint on time, finding soft spots within that zone. A couple of them produces touchdown, and I think the net at the end of it, you just mentioned it, partner, it was the fact that they would possess the ball on those two possessions, what essentially amounts to a quarter. I know the time of possession on balance is fairly even between the two teams, but McManus has been more than just a good steward.
Yeah, and he hasn't had quite the running game that they had hoped to have, or that they had last week in their win against Minnesota. All right, Maryland's getting the ball to start the second half. Their coach has made it clear our playoffs start now. We got to win some games here as we check the first half stats here, and they are brought to you by Allstate. You're in good hands with Allstate. So what do you expect from the Terps as they get the ball here to start the third quarter?
Chris, they got to get some points on the board, right? That's the first thing they've got to do. They've got to score. And again, it's not about time of possession. It's what you do. Points per possession become a stat that we're going to track this next half because you have to produce them every time you touch the ball.
Yeah, Maryland has trailed at halftime for the 8th time now in their 10 games, but they'll get the ball here in just a moment. All right, Maryland ready to go as we welcome you back to College Football and FS1, sponsored by Hampton, by Hilton for the stay as we get ready to start the third quarter, and the Terrapins and their head coach fighting to stay bowl eligible. Time for our quarterback comparison, sponsored by Eckridge, and the numbers you just talked about, Callie McManus. But Billy Edwards, we counted only 4 explosive plays from the entire Maryland offense. And I know that's well short of the number they had in mind.
Yeah, their definition of explosives is 15 or more on the throw game and then 12 or more in the run game. And if you can get that, Loxley feels like they're going to be in a good position. They haven't been able to consistently do that. But for me, I think it's being able to pay it off. Every time they possess the ball, to start this game in the first quarter, they had 2 trips down near the doorstep of the 20, and then they got a missed field goal and then 3 points. That's all they got out of that. So those 2 trips down there have got to be more productive.
Yeah, and there has not been a turnover in this game. That was something that both coaches, when we met with them, talked with them, Spencer, they were very clear about, hey, we have to protect the ball, but they also said we have to go out of our way to force a turnover. It really turns the tide of the game, and it might decide this in the second half.
Let's give them credit because we didn't anticipate. I anticipated a shootout, right? It being just what we saw from this Rutgers team against Minnesota, and maybe repeating that with those outstanding wide receivers who, for the most part, have been quiet in terms of those huge explosive plays downfield, the 59, 69 yards that they turned in last week against Minnesota. Totally the opposite of that today.
A good look at Coach Loxley. I love what he said about, the NIL and players today. He said, I remind these players, I say, hey, y'all got skin in the game too, just like I do. Meaning you're getting paid, you better, deliver, or else you won't keep getting paid.
I played for a guy, you remember, Jerry Glanville.
Yes.
His deal was she's not on scholarship anymore. she's got to produce.
And that's it so far. Maryland has run it 16 times. They've attempted 22 throws. That's a little more of the balance that they want. I guess they're just not getting the results as you talked about as we look at how some of those drives in the first half ended.
Absolutely. And the reason why those drives ended it that way, Chris, is because they do not have balance. And I mean balance by the definition of being able to do what we need to do when we need to do it.
None of those explosive plays, though, were more than 20 yards. And this one, he couldn't hang on. It was across the middle for Felton. That's a 7th target for Felton, but longer beam was on the coverage for Rutgers.
And that's one of the things that these Terps really excel at. They love to get you in man coverage and put those big body wide receivers in between themselves and the football so that they can continue on after the catch. And that's what Locks is looking for. Let's get the one-on-one matchups, complete the execution, and win the play. Nice.
Hembury brought down. Hemby at the 29-yard line. Need to get to that 35 for a first down.
The Joe May right there. I mean, again, he did a wonderful job stopping him. He looks like he's gimpy a little bit, but again, that whole secondary, then certainly the linebacking core, of Rutgers has been really besieged by injuries, and he himself is a replacement. They'll put him in hybrid positions all over the place, but he's not a true Mike linebacker. That guy can play a lot of different positions.
Yeah, he didn't really play a U.S. style of football coming from Canada until he got here. Kind of a hybrid, versatile player. As you said, they can use him anywhere. And on a third down throw, wide open across the middle and now across midfield. And there is Caden Prather with a big play, and there's an explosive play for the Terps.
And it came against a pressure look. I mean, you saw great pressure coming and taking advantage of it. I think this play was going to be called no matter what, but did a wonderful job to Billy Edwards identifying it, getting the ball out quickly.
Longest play for them of 28 yards. They go without a huddle and another quick toss in the other direction, and that's Octavian Smith Jr. before he is run out of bounds.
I think Locks maybe heard what we said in our rejoin here at halftime. They're trying to push the ball up the field and using, once again, pace and tempo as a tactical advantage, and it seems to be working right now.
Yeah, he called his quarterback, Billy Edwards. He said he's not a gunslinger quarterback, more of an insurance agent, in that he mitigates damage. Of course, with rates today, my goodness, I mean, you're going to get paid like an NAL. You know, I don't know which is better. But he has handled things so far. No turnovers, as we said.
He really has. He's been outstanding.
On a 2nd down 4, thrown down inside the 35 is Roman Hemby.
You know, from week to week, Chris, the script may be different. You may be asked to do different things, and so being able to work within the framework of what you're doing can be as important as having those wide open games that a gunslinger might have. Sometimes they can be dangerous in this league, particularly when you're playing the type of team that can possess the ball like Rutgers can. They can steal from you. You got to be careful about gunslinging against this bunch.
Yeah, the redshirt junior Billy Edwards, he's been called a coach in a player's body, and in a short yardage situation they needed a yard. You see Shaquan Loyal is back out there on defense. Oh, an excellent play call, and open is Hemby. Roman Hemby diving. He stumbled inside the 5, or he would have been in for the touchdown. What a play on 3rd and a yard.
Jaquan Lowell, number 6, was back there defending, and watch him. They both bite on this. They come off of it. That's a busted play right there. A mistake defensively. And again, Hemby's got the ball in that right hand, but for that shoestring effort, he's in for the score.
Yeah, Loyal just did catch enough to keep Hemby from getting into the end zone.
And Lowell had him in defense and was more concerned about making a play. His eyes were dialed in the backfield instead.
On 1st and goal, Hemby. Well, that front wall of this Rutgers defense stood up. Loyal helping to kind of pull back. Yeah, and they tried to shove their way through. So back-to-back big gainers of 28 and 30-plus yards for Maryland. Sets them up on 2nd and goal. Try to take the lead here.
Well, they got to do some thinking here, because Keontae Hamilton and company, the nose tackle, they're going to be mindful of where he is. And I think Locks has probably got a plan for that. Track some tension down and to try to get to the edge.
He's been the steadiest, most reliable player who has been healthy and out there on a regular basis for Rutgers. Hemby straight ahead, nice. And Roman Hemby in for the touchdown for the Terrapins.
Well, Chris, that's one way to do it, run away from number 48, right? They went to the left side of that, and it was an enemy in front. There's nobody on him, so that little void right through here is where they're trying to get to that left guard. They double team Hamilton, and because of that double team, it creates a natural void on that left side of the line, and he gets in for the score.
6th rushing touchdown this season for Roman Hemby. The extra point is good for a 3-point Maryland lead. Big plays set him up with a passing game. Hemby with 85 yards rushing today, and Maryland is out in front of the 3rd. What a way for Maryland to open up the second half. A 75-yard drive. We're talking about explosive plays. They were looking for a certain number. They had 2 in that drive, and the 2 longest of the game. And Hemby did it all. He's got 15 carries, 85 yards of the touchdown run, and 4 catches for 46 yards as well. So over 130 yards of total offense for Roman Hemby.
And Chris, you look at the anatomy of that drive. Half the time that it took Rutgers to score, 3:44 in that one versus 7+ minutes in their 2 scoring drives in the first half. So what that tells you is if they can stay on pace with that, they'll have a chance to outscore Rutgers in the second half. Now, Rutgers has a chance now. to respond with their middle eight performance.
Yeah, especially you've played the game, so that middle eight, you're talking about 4 minutes before half, 4 minutes coming out of the half, how that turns the tide. And we saw Rutgers win that portion. Maryland did not before the half, and now obviously the response for Loxley's team and Terrapin's coming out and getting a quick 7.
Not shocked at all, Chris, by that, because I know Lox is a good coach, and I've got tremendous respect for Greg Schiano. You know, all the years in the National Football League, he's got an unbelievable football mind. And the way, and I love how you framed it up earlier, how he used those timeouts at times when it didn't seem obvious. And that is a forward-thinking coach. It tells you a lot about his intelligence level and his football IQ.
And a whistle and a flag. It's kind of a no play here. Penalties 4 have been accepted on Rutgers, just 2 on Maryland. It's usually an area where the Scarlet Knights win that.
False start. Offense, number 86. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
Well, for Maryland, the defense in the Big Ten, they're ranked in the top 5. They're actually 4th with 15 takeaways. And they've yet to grab one here as we look at the penalties and how good Greg Schiano's team has been, but not tonight, not against Maryland. On 1st and 15. Monangai in the backfield. He's been the go-to on the ground. The pass here, what a throw right at the 30. Getting 10 of those yards back to Ian Strong.
It was a great job of taking their time to get into the look that they wanted to. And I tell you what, you got the great receiver, the body type to make that particular play, because he was actually double covered inside and out, what we call a banjo technique, where they'll stick you in between each other and play you from either side, kind of like you would a banjo, or you put it between you. And that's exactly what happened. Kalikmanek saw it, but he got that ball out.
I'm sure the viewers often wonder how certain plays get the names that they get, so Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification. That's 6 catches, a career high for Strong. And he wants to give it to Monangai, but he doesn't. Eventually he keeps. Kalikmanek goes down on. He was hesitating, waiting for something to happen, but Glendon Miller read it well.
Well, what you saw was what they call a read mesh, and Kalikmanek sees that defensive end comes down, and watch him close and come down line here, and he gets caught between no man's land. And a good defense end will do that. He will sit there and play, and you're in space, and you're not quite sure whether to pull that ball out and run it. But athleticism will freeze you. Usually it's the other guy's defensive end get caught in no man's land. Great job defensively.
3rd and 7, chance for the Maryland defense to come up with something big, protecting the 3-point lead. Delayed blitz and had to get rid of it. Knocked down. There's a flag out in the receiver of the area, Ian Strong, with 3 Terps around him.
That was rare pressure from Brian Williams, the Terps defensive coordinator. Man, he doesn't bring pressure a lot.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. The ball he plays to the spot of the foul. Automatic. First down.
And you say, well, why it makes it difficult to do that, to pressure? Well, that puts everybody on an island behind you. You know you're locked down in man coverage. And if you can't do it without getting handsy, that's one of the reasons why Brian doesn't blitz as much as he does. He's got some youth back there, some guys that are still learning. They get nervous when they're asked to defend for a long time.
Second call against Thomas. And what a strong run. Monangai with a first down. We'll check the exact spot, but it looked like he got it right at the 45-yard line, and he did.
Chris, Monangai is like water, man. He just really flows where there's no resistance, and he just kind of moves up to the line of scrimmage. Short stature build guy, but he's got tremendous burst, and he flows with the voids.
See how he flows here. So far, he's picking that average up closer to 4 a carry. He's down around 3 much of the game. 12 carries so far. And he does have a reception. Stays in the game. And pass is caught. Down around the 40. Damier Miller is thrown down after making the catch.
Glendon Miller was in the nickel trail technique, the defender on that play, number 1. And this is a great pitch and catch right here. This is what Maryland is trying to do when they've got the ball. Place it, complete it. That's not a perfectly thrown pass, but Miller went up and grabbed it. Got those long arms and went and pulled it and corrected. He's an eraser, man. He's going to make a bad play or bad throw look good.
He's got 5 catches after 7 targets. We have some excellent receivers in this game. More than 1 or 2 on each side of the ball for each team as Monangai follows a crowd and a late shove forward around the 35-yard line of Maryland.
Chris, I'm going old school on you, and I know it's a different frame and context, but, you know, Monangai, sometimes the way he runs, he reminds me of Edgerrin James, slow to, fast through. He's a reader. And the way he's built, though, he looks more like a plugger. But Greg Schiano's got a good running back here who's instinctive, intuitive. I know now why he wants him healthy.
Keep him in the running game. He's upping that number, nearing 50 yards total. Set to throw. Pass is caught. Going to the turf at the 20-yard line is K.J. Duff, the 6'6" freshman receiver that we mentioned is kind of a tag teammate of Ian Strong.
Rocky Rowland, number 27, was out there defending. There was nothing that he could do about that, defending on the far side of the field. That ball was going to be low and away, placed exactly where it needed to be, down.
Yeah, both quarterbacks seem to have found their rhythm, delivering the ball much better. Maybe that's what the defenses are doing than we saw in the first half. But a pickup of 16 and a first down.
Taking his time, getting into the right play.
He keeps after a fake. And Hippolyte on the tackle. He didn't buy it. By the way, I like when you go old school. You're a new wave kind of old school guy. It's good to blend those together.
Absolutely, man. They call me the Renaissance man, but I kind of like to go back forth with the old school, some new school, mix it up.
We love those references to style of running backs, what they might become or who they remind us of. And Edgerrin James, certainly was a visual we could grasp onto. On a 2nd and 11, that last play, losing yardage. The blitz is on. Open. Got it. Short of the first down. Tackled right away. Looks like he's around the 12-13. It's Duff again with his 2nd catch of the game.
Well, Perry Fisher again is there, but not before the significant gain, like you said, to the far side of the field. Now all of a sudden it's Rutgers that's able to move down the field unimpeded, it seems, against Maryland, answering the call in the second half.
Spotted at the 12. They're going to need 2 for a first down. Brisk moving third quarter. Under 6 minutes to go.
Oh, it's a skinny post here.
Pressure. The blitz is on.
Nice.
And incomplete. It'll be 4th down. Dymere Miller was the target, but Jalen Husky was back there covering.
Partner, sometimes I talk myself through a play when I can see it, so
yes.
I apologize for that. But again, if you're sitting at home, you can see it coming, right? They're going to go pace and tempo most days. They gave us a chance to break here. That pass could have come his way. He saw it through Kalikmanis, and he made it, just didn't complete it. Greg Schiano is trying to find a way to get it again.
Passing up a 30-yard field goal try. They're 2 of 2 on 4th down. No hesitation here for Rutgers.
Pressure off the edge.
It's coming again. Pass caught and good enough for the first down is Miller. Tackled right away by Glendon Miller.
Miller, the redshirt senior, man, he was trying to get out there as far as he possibly could, but not quick enough. Now they've got to hurry.
And they do. And into the end zone. It's a touchdown for Rutgers. Kyle Monangai has his 2nd of the game. That quick snap after the completion. Another 4th down conversion and then taking it into the end zone on the next play.
Oh, this play wasn't designed to go here, but watch Monangai come across the formation and then come back and follow his tight end on the wham block and then goes inside and finds a nice soft void. But to Chris's point, you got to get acclimated and quickly discern things. We talk about awareness in the game so much. If the opponent is going pace and tempo, using it as a tactical advantage, you better match that energy.
3-point lead, about to be 4 if they can nail the extra point as Patel gets ready. That was a quick drive for Rutgers. They have been taking lengthy scoring drives, both in yards and plays. And the extra point is good. Quick by Rutgers standards. 11 plays, 75 yards, a 6-minute drive, and 2 for that guy, Monangai, into the end zone. Tomorrow on Fox, great slate of NFL games. NFC North rivals, Jordan Love of the Packers, Caleb Williams and the Bears. Some will see the Seahawks and 49ers. McCaffrey's back. It's all on Fox. Check for the game in your area. Week 12 in college football, and a good one going here between Maryland, desperate for a win. Rutgers a win gets them bowl eligible. And you like a little bit now the way this is going, even though Maryland is trailing, you think this is kind of their type of game. They're going to get the ball here in a second.
If they hold serve, Chris, and they can score in 3 minutes and 55 seconds again, and Loxley can keep them dialed in and not turn the ball over, the possessions favor them in that kind of a game. What they didn't want to allow is Rutgers to maintain a lead and allow Greg Schiano to protect that lead. But if they're trading and it's taken Greg Schiano and the Scarlet Knights 7 minutes to score, you do the math on that. Points per possession becomes the stat.
Maryland has not punted yet, and we've had 5 lead changes in this game. The biggest margin has been what it is now. That's 4 points. Maryland in a moment. Terrapins with a chance to respond to Rutgers at 21-17 advantage. I love the alums here. Larry David, famous Maryland, Jim Henson, of course, who created the very athletic on a bike, Travis Pastrana, and Sean Merriman, who went on to play in the NFL and doing the charity work with Lights Out, the donation. Just some of the many Maryland alums. Boomer Esiason, of course, the great quarterback and announcer, one of those as well. Nolan Ray starts in the backfield after Roman Hemby did a lot of the heavy lifting on the last drive. Set to throw is Billy Edwards, and on the move, it's a tough throw and incomplete around the 40 for Ty Felton.
Yeah, that's one of those 3-quarter field throws. It's really tough, man, but if you can hit him on the run, it's a big play.
Let's get a quick game break. Mike Hill in L.A. with our All-State game break.
Hey, had a good game between Mizzou and South Carolina. After Mizzou went up 3 late, South Carolina drives right back. Lenore Sellers the pitch to Raheem Sanders, and Sanders muscles his way in from 15 yards out for the game winner. Gamecocks now 7-3 on the season with a 34-30 win. Chris and Spencer.
All right, thank you very much, Mike, for that All-Star game break. All-State providing that as the handoff straight ahead to Ray and gets up around the 32-yard line. Check that exact spot. It'll bring up a third down under 5 minutes now to go here in the third quarter.
So what Maryland's trying to do is create, Chris, those run-pass conflict situations, right? 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. You don't know if I'm going to run it or throw it. And so the personnel matchups becomes critical. And then you try to find the mismatches. If you're Mike Loxley, you call in plays here.
They average 43 pass attempts a game. That's a high number. Right now they're at 23, so more than halfway there. That pass a little behind and incomplete. Felton the target. And a big defensive series for Rutgers. Now 4th down. They need 4, and here comes the first punt of the game for the Terps. Bryce McPherson, who leads the Big Ten in punting average. He's 7th overall in the nation. Will come out.
It was a big let in this serve and volley game. I'm telling you that right now, so you've shortened the time, the distance that they can do it.
Special teams have been a bit of a problem the last few games, according to Maryland's head coach. And remember, Schiano, his Rutgers team, they've blocked more punts in the last 3 seasons. This time, excellent protection, and they get it away at a good kick. And inside the 30 is where they will take over on offense, protecting that 4-point lead.
And you notice that Ty Felton was one of the guys down there covering. And Loxley is not afraid to use his elite players in these situations. He appreciates they were miserable last week on special teams and recognizing them, but they certainly are not going to skimp when it comes to putting those players in play.
It's amazing with the amount of injuries, and we talked about at least 8 that were major contributors or starters, and not just out, but out for the entire season-ending injuries, and the games lost, and yet Rutgers having a chance after snapping that losing streak last week, trying to win back-to-back games, get to 6 victories. They'll finish with Illinois and Michigan State and become bowl eligible. It's Monangai. He's loose. Kyle Monangai. There's a flag way back, but he is down inside the 1-yard line, chased down. We'll check that penalty flag. Judah Jenkins saved him from reaching the end zone.
Well, you imagine it was holding somewhere back here around the 50, or the flag is sitting right between the 5 and the 0 where the crime occurred, and they'll bring that one back probably.
Yeah, it looked like it was developing.
Holding.
Slowly.
Offense, number 8. 10-yard penalty for the spot of foul. It's still first down.
I thought he said number 8, which
Near Wright Collins. I think that's who they called it on.
Okay.
And so that would make sense. You know, he would be out there at that.
No, that's KJ Duff.
Oh, that's KJ. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
And I don't know. Is that? Do you see? Well, yeah, that looks like the jersey, but I don't know that it was necessary for him to do that, but maybe he didn't realize it. But that seems like the right call, and the flag came out right away. But what a spectacular run. Great effort. 21 yards, and by the boards, it's history now. Antoine Raymond comes in at running back, back inside the 35. On first down, they need 4, and he's going to power his way to the 40, and that's enough for a first down. Monangai, by the way, his second straight 1,000-yard rushing season, even before that run that was called back.
I'll tell you what, though, Chris, Antoine Raymond is no slouch. You know, he, along with Jashawn Benjamin, combined for nearly 150 yards against Minnesota. Those two right there, I believe, were the licks, and they didn't miss a beat in the run game.
And they're both excellent at blocking, chipping to help protect the quarterback. First down from the 40. Extra pressure is picked up, and tough catch for Dremel, but pass was a little out in front of him.
But to your point on that last play, Antoine did a wonderful job, number 21, of protecting Kyle McManus on that last play. Youth is not a problem with this kid. Jashawn Benjamin is another one. Those two are young, but they do an outstanding job in pass pro.
There is Monangai, back-to-back 1,000-yard season. He's the 4th Rutgers player with multiple 1,000-yard rush seasons. Catching a breather on 2nd and 10. Raymond across the 45.
And Judah Jenkins is coming with a bad attitude, man. He has been all over the place tonight, and on that last play he showed you he's coming to the party with a bad disposition.
Here comes Monangai back out there.
He's got such a promising future. Jenkins does, man.
Yes.
He's a young 5'10", 184-pound freshman.
Freshman from good counsel, only Maryland. 3rd and 3, need to get to midfield for the first. Extra pressure coming. The throw on target for the first down catch. And thrown down is Miller. But they did what they had to do. Tough hanging in there for Kyle McManus.
I'll tell you what, he did hang in there. And then he's beaten blitzes twice today, Chris, in key situations. You can see the 4 down that are coming, and then 3 more on the back end. Little holding going on in there, too. But Kyle McManus stood in the pocket, delivered a strike. Man, when you can throw with that kind of accuracy under duress, you are an asset to this offense.
Tough. Jalen Husky came in and hit him after he let it go, but a good tackle by Dante Trader, or they would have gotten a lot more. Pickup of 10 yards and a fresh set of downs. Monangai having trouble getting loose there as Caleb Wheatland got to him. Clock running now, just over a minute here in the third.
And see, this is the anatomy that's different between saving that explosive play that was called back and the holding. Look how long it's taking Rutgers to score. That's the big issue. If Maryland can come back and then get that spirit of that speed that they had in that first drive of the second possession, that's where they can maintain control of this game.
Raymond checks in at running back. Quick pass. What a catch, leaping into the air at the 31 is KJ Duff. He's 6'6", so when he leaps, it's like a big-time rebound.
KJ Duff is doing what Maryland wants to do with their receivers. The pass doesn't have to be thrown on the spot all the time. This guy's an eraser, right? He's got a huge catch radius. He'll climb the ladder, Chris, and make that play and make everybody look good. That's outstanding offense.
Yeah, he's 6'6", big enough to play hoops. And there was a basketball game on campus, Marquette, Maryland, last night, called by our guys, Brandon Godin. We saw Bill Raftery hanging out in the lobby, as he often does. Whether it's football, basketball, can we have madness in November? Well, we got a good one going here. Rutgers moving with the football in a tight one at College Park, Maryland. Start of the fourth quarter, Spencer Tilbert, Chris Myers, and Rutgers with a 4-point lead in the football. Monangai with a couple of touchdown runs after coming back off of injury. His first came back. And Maryland, what a game from Roman Hemby.
One of the hidden stats, though, partners, Rutgers almost enjoying a 6-minute time of possession advantage right now, something they got to be concerned with. Again, given the mean amount of time it takes them to score points, precarious lead here.
And that flip from the opening quarter, when they need to put the lights on here, they had at the for the fans,
Phil Collins,
they did the hey, let's light it up and dim the lights, and then they need it back, so it gives Rutgers a little bit more time. Yeah, that first quarter, the time of possession, Maryland had the advantage, but they were one of two field goals. Yeah, the lights are working just fine here at CQ Stadium. That's just who's ever worked on the switch.
That's right.
What do you say, line asleep at the switch? Be alert at the switch. Maybe he didn't want to see what Rutgers is going to do. On 1st and 10. Kalikmanis going deep. He's got him, and he's got it, and he's into the end zone, and yes, that's a Dymere Miller touchdown. A dime to Dymere from Kalikmanis.
Well, this is just a basic out route, you know, on the edges, and you got to be mindful of this. When you're playing straight across the board and you're the inside slot receiver, you've got from the hashes all the way to the numbers to make a play. And if you can't get back over there soon enough, you're going to have problems coming your way. It's a really just a difficult spot to be in from a defensive back standpoint, but because you got another receiver wide of you, got to be able to make that play. You're on an island.
Yeah, you just saw the numbers for Rutgers quarterback, and delivered from 32 yards away. Boy, they were waiting to kind of break it open against that secondary that's been picked on, that had played tough through much of the game. Dymere Miller into the end zone, and a 28-17 lead for the Scarlet Knights. So we're thinking bowl eligibility. Welcome back to college football on FS1, sponsored by Hampton, by Hilton. Hilton for the stay. Good way to start the fourth quarter for the Scarlet Knights. Dymere Miller, touchdown grab, 8 catches, over 100 yards, the leading receiver. He's got 11 targets. Right behind him is Ian Strong with 6 catches for a touchdown.
And you notice, Chris, that was a 4-minute, 26-second drive, not a 7-minute drive. And that gives them that 11-point lead right now. And hate to be a team trailing the Greg Schiano coach team. at this stage.
Well, remember, he talked about a heavyweight fight. I mean, that whether it was Muhammad Ali or Rocky Balboa, he said, I got a fictional guy. But that could be a knockout punch if Maryland doesn't respond in a hurry. And they have shown that ability. He talked about them as a team that comes battling back when they get pushed into a corner.
Well, if Billy Edwards is going to go up top, he's probably going to have to do it against a two-deep safety look, and that's really one of the threatening things that you don't want to do. You ideally want to rush the ball against that, but because they're down by 11, you need to find a way to get points scored.
Hemby had his 27th career touchdown, tied for 4th on the all-time list for Maryland. A big part of things for this offense, but excellent defense there as Preston Howard from the tight end position can't do much. A gain of just 3.
And Chris, the reason they can't do much is Joe Harasmiak, their defensive coordinator, is playing what we call a 3-cloud look. So there are 3 defensive backs back here. And most you see is 2, right? And we got 3 back there. That means you're going to concede the run. You're just not going to get beat through the pass. And that's what right now Rutgers is concerned about.
Nolan Ray comes in, fake to him, and there he goes. Billy Edwards Jr. gets a first down.
I'll give him that. That's fine. They've made that decision as Rutgers. They're going to give him those plays. But when it comes down to that 3rd and short or 3rd and medium, they're going to drop back and either cover 3, knowing that they're likely going to pass the ball, and they're going to defend the pass. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah, they want him to chew up the clock. It's a 2-possession game. Edwards airing it out and toward the sideline. Here comes a flag. Caden Prather was over there. Eric Rogers on the coverage.
Rogers has got great length. He's 6'2". I'm surprised he got caught in that trap over there. Let's see what they rule.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, they got the senior transfer from Burlington Township, and you can see he's on an island. He's got that left hand grabbing the jersey, and I'm telling you, he's right on top of that black number 1. And that's what the officials saw clearly. Clearly a holding by Eric Rogers. These guys get nervous when they're in man coverage.
Yeah, uncharacteristic. That's what, 6 penalties now on Rutgers as Ray carries, and Scarlet Knights shut that down. That's now the 7th penalty, updating that. Accepted. 65 penalty yards. That's the area that they had the fewest in all of college football coming into this game.
Maryland content to use every bit of the clock and get the right play. They just don't want to make mistakes. That's just where they are in their development, Chris.
Yeah, I think their thinking is we're going to get points on this drive, or at least we have to no matter what. Couldn't hold on around the 41-yard line. Nolan Ray.
Therein lies the problem with the offense. It's been their story. It's about not completing the full cycle of execution, whether it's the throw by the quarterback or the catch by the receiver. Someone's not doing their job. And to Locke's point that you brought up, Chris, earlier, you got skin in the game, guys, and we'll go back and coach these points, right? We'll say, hey, look, what happened? Dude, you dropped the ball, right? There's nowhere to go, nowhere to hide in that situation.
Yeah, they think of Ray as that creative, elusive runner had he been able to hang on to that. So here's Edwards firing again and open at the 30. Some tough hits surrounded by 4 or 5 Scarlet Knights, but Caden Prather held on.
And that was more like a Billy Edwards type of play right there. He did just the opposite on that one and got the ball out and just done a wonderful job of dealing with the pressure. That's what they needed to do. That timing was absolutely excellent to get the ball out of his hands and complete it.
Yeah, he's having to work away from Ty Felton, who had a touchdown catch. He's the most targeted in the game. And Hemby now top of your screen as a receiver. Felton dancing around, and the throw. That's a takeaway from Jordan Thompson came up with that.
Incredible play.
Big defensive play, the first turnover, first takeaway of this game.
And it was basically a 4 vertical concept, 4 wide receivers, and he finds a nice soft spot in the void, but a failure to complete the pass and pull it in, right? Starts floating in that pocket. Just stay down, sit down right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
What you're trying to do versus zone coverage is split the difference between the 2 defenders.
Loyal, who has 12 tackles in the game, shook that loose from Octavian Smith, and Rutgers with the lead, and again the football. Greg Schiano has been in coaching for 37 years. And, of course, his second tour as the head coach at Rutgers. And we look at famous alums. Speaking of great coaches, the Jim Valvano, an alum from Rutgers. David Stern, the former commissioner of the NBA. So many. The great actor from The Sopranos, James Gandolfini, and many more. And hey, Alexi Lawless, our soccer star and Soccer Hall of Fame inductee.
Yeah.
Later we'll all hang out at the Bing, maybe. I don't know. Yes, I kid because I care. Hey, Scar, the Rutgers, the last 4, other than the kneel down, 4 straight touchdown drives. And they get the takeaway. Still time for Maryland if they can get a quick 3 and out. There's some good gang tackling on Kyle Monangai.
Well, if Maryland's going to get back in it, Chris, they've got to do what they said they wanted to do, explosive plays, and they got to get them in bunches, right? They got to get them right now, and obviously they're down the turnover. To me, that turnover was really the inflection point. That changed everything in the way this game is played out. It's tough to come back when you're down this many points and you're trailing in the turnover category.
Yeah, so they had 11 turnovers in their last 5 games, but they in the first 4 games they just had 3. They were one of the top Big Ten teams in terms of not turning it over, but it was the defense of the Scarlet Knights that forced that one. So that's a dozen turnovers now in this 6-game stretch. So throw, and the catch is made. Ian Strong doesn't want to be outdone by Dymere Miller.
Boy, all 6'3", 211 pounds of him, the sophomore out of St. Anthony's. Watch him track this ball. It's thrown up where he can run right underneath it. Callum McManus did a wonderful job of placing that ball right between the sidelines, just beyond the outstretched hands of a guy who he knows has the length to go get it.
There's been a few connections here where the coverage has been pretty good. And Callum McManus is over 235 yards passing.
Now they have the luxury of taking their time and getting in the right play.
He'll keep this time. Surprising the defense. Good enough for the first down. Well, it seems like they use up the clock, they use up all the downs, and they produce on the end of the drive.
This is what they do. I think in the early first half we called him kind of like a steward of the offense, right? And he did a good job, but I think ultimately here he's doing what's required to win games. And Greg Schiano, listen, he knows and he wants to posit himself as a coach who's concerned about all 3 phases of the game. But he's a defensive-minded guy. Yet he's got a guy that is able to and is not concerned with being cast in a role that causes him to change from week to week.
Gives it to Monangai, tripped up right away. He hasn't had a lot of big runs, Monangai. 16-yarder was a run, but he has surpassed the 1,000-yard mark, as we mentioned, in back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. And again, the 2 touchdown performance as well. You see his numbers on 17 carries. Dante Chin, who started at the left guard spot for Taj White, is the injured player for Rutgers. We'll step away for a moment. Chin up and to the Rutgers sideline. That offensive line's did a pretty good job. We've had just 1 sack.
I think what they've done with their game plan, it really helped them because of the injuries up front, right? Getting rid of the ball quick. And when they've rolled out, they've done that to mitigate the possibility of sacks. Great job with that.
Antoine Raymond in at running back on 2nd down 9, and the throw is picked off. Did he hang on? He could not as he went to the ground. Dante Trader Jr. is kind of the brains of that defense. The on-field leader had it, couldn't hold it. Great effort there. Would have been big for the Terps. Now a 3rd down. And 9 needed.
Well, that certainly could have been an equalizer in terms of that one key stat of turnovers.
Yeah, it looked like Ian Strong got his hand in there, too, to make in the way of that possible interception. Just over 10 minutes to play on a 3rd down 9. Throw is incomplete. Strong trying a one-hander.
would have been a great one. And you know what the thing I like about it's more impressive that to make that play impossible, the protection from the running back. He did a wonderful job of coming in there in relief to support his quarterback in that play. It was just great.
Patel on to try, the junior from South Brunswick, New Jersey. South Brunswick High School. 46-yard field goal here. Attempting after a slow start. He's made 5 straight at a 49-yarder against UCLA. The kick, it's up there, it's out there, and it's through. And a flag down back at the 28-yard line on the Rutgers side of the field. May have been an offside. Let's see.
Offside. Defense number 20.
Wow.
That penalty's declined. Field goal's good.
Would not have been enough to give him the first down, so take the points, and it's 31-17.
Yep, always take the points.
But he's bold, he's brash. I'm not talking about you, Spencer. Craig Carton's teaming up with Danny Parkins and Mark Schlereth, our buddy. Yeah, Schlereth's our guy to start your day off with the best morning sports show on TV. Check out Breakfast Ball every weekday, 8 a.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
That's a motley crew right there now.
Well, a lot of football knowledge there, starting with Schlereth and heading across the board. This is the 6th straight game that Maryland has allowed 28 points or more after not doing so in any of the first 4 games. And that's been part of the struggle for Michael Loxley, and hoping that he could outscore Rutgers in this game. But need to hurry up and get points if they want to salvage bowl chances. Bowl eligibility, coming in with a 4-5 record. Faked as if he was coming out. That's a touchback. I guess he wanted to just try to gas the special teams unit of Rutgers. Well, they made good on the takeaway, producing points. And how patient can you be if you're Billy Edwards Jr.?
Well, here's the disadvantage you're at. You know the defense knows you need to score quickly, and so you got to take some chances. Again, I think that plays right into the hands of what Rutgers wants to do defensively. Play a more conservative style on the back end, whether it's that 3-cloud look we saw. Teams that do that effectively, Iowa State and others, it's really tough to score and get behind.
Edwards to throw, batted in the air and almost intercepted. It was up there, falling from the tree, and nobody could quite bring it in. It looked like, Aaron Lewis had a chance at that, the Michigan transfer.
It's not every day those guys, 6'5", 260 pounds, get a chance to snap one like that, man, but they salivate when they see it.
Nice catch on the run and moving across the 40. Dylan Moore still going across midfield. He gets a block down the sideline before stepping out of bounds. Sophomore from Orlando, Florida, took Maryland over schools that were pursuing him, and Rutgers was one of them. What a gain of 40-plus yards.
That was a huge play. And again, when you put a guy in your back pocket like that, you're trying to defend him. It's so tough to get in there. It's a wonderful job of separating and getting on top of the defender.
Quick snap. Edwards has time. He's got room to run for something here. And he throws on the run. Tough play at the 10-yard line out of bounds for Ty Felton, incomplete.
And that's your best receiver. You know, every once in a while you'll miss those like that, but you want him to be able to catch that one along the sidelines. That's a significant drop right there. And again, you're needing to score quickly here. That's the issue. And it comes back to the execution. That's been the bane of this offense's existence for the last 6 weeks. Not able to close the deal on one end or another, whether it's a quarterback or the receiver. Got to close.
That's the 10th target for Felton. He does have a touchdown catch, 3 receptions in the game. To throw, late rush coming, floating one. It'll be a tough grab in the end zone. In and out of the hands. Felton almost had another score.
It was tough to see it, Chris, from this side as there's a down Charlotte Knight player down. But I think he let it climb on him and hit his shoulder pads.
That's Shaquan Loyal, who's the injured player. Let's take another look at.
Here's the mesh in underneath, and then the ball is up in the air so he can have a chance to high point this ball, but I think he lets it climb on him. He creates a basket down here as opposed to going to get it. Here's a great look at it right here. Tries to basket catch that and allow the defender to get his hand in there. At that height, you go up and you pluck that ball out of the air.
That way it does not give the defender, in this case, Bo Masco, the chance. He got his arm in there and just made it more difficult. It's a pretty good throw when they needed it the most. Could have changed this game dramatically.
Again, that comes back to the execution as we look at the down Scarlet Knight here, and it's tough to see that. These guys are scrambling in there trying to make something happen, and here he is late coming into the play.
Double-digit tackles for Shaquan Loyal, today. Oh, grabbed his right knee. And still down.
And Roman didn't mean anything intentional. He just went up in the air and he blocked him.
Yeah, he had left once from an injury, headed to the locker room, came back, was all over the place making tackles. Speaking of tackles, this team, they checked in that win over Minnesota. That was the best their defense played all year last week. They went back and they looked. They said the team only missed one tackle. And you know how you keep that stat of missed tackles in the game, the coaching staff tape. I mean, that's impressive to go through.
No question. And that's fundamental to the game, right? And that's what you knew it was going to be a physical game. At least you thought on paper that was the case. And you needed to be able to block and tackle. Those are the things that good football teams do. But, I'm glad to see that Loyal's up and moving right now. But I can tell you as a rule for you youngsters at home, nothing good happens when you leave your feet. The only player I know can do something like that is Saquon Barkley. Come off his feet and make something happen like that. That was just an exception.
And he knows where to go with the football when he lands. Facing a 3rd down 10, just over 9 minutes to play now.
3rd and 10 from the 31.
Billy Edwards, 19 or more completions in all 10 games this season. He's going to need a few more big ones to get Maryland back in the game. This is dumped off. Preston Howard inside the 25, a few yards short of a first down. And it's 4th down. We'll see the exact spot here. Looks like they'll need 2 yards.
A full 2 yards here for first. Going with the trips formation and dose pack, so it's 5 wide receivers, and they're going to empty the backfield here. And obviously, it's going to be a pass. Or they're going to bring him back in.
They can still throw it to
Hemby. Got him wide open.
And it's batted away. He was there for a second in the clear. Aaron Lewis is having a heck of a game.
Incredible effort by Lewis. On this series alone, he's had 2 key plays, Chris, that's kept him in a position where they're positive right now, frustrating them. Watch him time this ball up. Hey, if I can't get home, I can at least get up in the air and make something happen. A minute ago, I said if you leave your feet, a lot of good things doesn't happen unless you're a defensive end trying to get to the quarterback. Lewis is a difference maker.
What a big defensive play. 2 out of 4 on 4th down for Maryland. Rutgers takes over. Strike up the band here in Maryland. See if they can help their Terps rally.
This may come as a surprise to some. Chris, the band is the #2 reason why people donate to programs.
I did not know that. Obviously, the football program.
Football program's #1, but the band is second.
Ask Greg Schiano coming in, who is most reliable players on offense throughout the year. Steady performers. He mentioned his quarterback and his running back, and Alec Manis and Manungai, who is in his first game back after injury, gets the football. His 5th multi-touchdown game in his career. Dante Chin has come back out on that offensive line. How about Sciano? He talked about the anxiety of today's young players.
Yep.
It's like, well, anxiety's been around. He said, we call it that now a little bit. How do you control that for young players playing football and focusing?
Well, the key is, you have to understand that you're involved in the process. You're trying to accumulate a suite of skills and talents that will allow you to manage. You can't worry about today or tomorrow. It's about what you're doing right now. And are you equipped to manage the crisis of the moment? I think it was Epictetus said the crisis doesn't make the team or the individual. It merely exposes who you are. And at that point, you rely on your training.
Yeah, remember this team during the losing streak with injuries. This will bring up a third down as Monangai carries. Yeah, that was his line. Sciano said that he just in the flow of our conversation, the two biggest thieves are yesterday and tomorrow. Because they rob you of today. And in street parlance, it's be where your feet are.
That's right. And I absolutely love that, again, because you can't really control anything. I mean, everybody does crisis management to some way. But for me, it's really simple. I'm like Greg Sciano. I draw a big T, and I say, okay, here's the stuff I can control and I can't control. Chris, where the anxiety comes in is when you haven't done something that you know you should have done. And when that stuff starts to pile up, that's where anxiety creeps in. If you can do what you need to do about situations, you don't worry about it beyond that.
Yeah, and that's where preparation obviously comes in as much as you possibly can, and then you give it your best shot. This is Raymond, and he is going to be stopped short of the first down. And that'll bring up a fourth down as the clock runs nearing 6.5 minutes. The punting unit will come out. Yeah, and on the other side, Michael Loxley talked about players trying to get over losing, quickly. He said it was just kind of it's a generation of swiping left. I want you to expound on that. He's dealing with young players and how to bounce back from things. And the kick is away as Felton backpedals to the 20 with a fair catch.
Yeah, and football is not a pejorative, right? We talk about snap and clear mentality. Something bad happens, especially cornerbacks. People who are out there on an island are going to have to come back again. You have to dispose of those things, right? And then reset your mindset to come back and compete. You can't dwell on those negative things. So again, but these kids don't ever want to be, as Loxley suggested to us, accountable or see themselves as failing or having not done 100%. And then when you're in that situation, again, it comes back to preparation. I think you nailed it just a minute ago. You got to be willing to confront those things that you're afraid of. I think there's a Latin phrase, instaurquilinis invenatur. It means in the filth that will be found. And these kids are at higher levels of education, and football can teach you so much. But that principal lesson of confronting the things you're scared is chief among them.
I feel like I'm in class with Spencer Tillman here. Pass is caught. Up across the 31 is Felton. And still going. Make that the 36-yard line, and a first down in a hurry-up mode here for Maryland.
Well, that's good and bad because they'll be able to move the ball. They've got talent, right? And there'll be some of the nice control passes in here, and they'll move it, but they got to get to the doorstep where they have failed 3 out of 5 times tonight.
Still a 2-possession game. The quick passes. Nice lunge forward by Dylan Wade, using the tight end more. That spot is just a little bit short of the first down. It'll be about a yard away from that.
So now they got to get lined up.
Going deep. Here's a flag. Felton looked like he was trying to get to that area of the field. And Masco was on him. Let's see if that's what the call is.
Yeah, I think
pass interference. Defense, number 3. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Yeah, the freshman out of Osceola just got a little bit handsy on that play.
I mean, those are big plays for Maryland because not only to get the yardage and the new set of downs, but you're also, stopping the clock.
Yeah.
And with those timeouts and a 2-possession difference here. 2-score really to get the touchdown, the extra point for the tie at 31-17. Put a little pressure on Rutgers offense if you can get into the end zone here, and open inside the 35 is Preston Howard. So they're finding the tight ends a little more, an adjustment in the passing approach for Maryland.
Great open field tackle by Eric Rogers right there, because that could have been even more.
Quick snap. Edwards hesitates. Nice. Open. Oh, he stumbled, or he would have had it at the 15. Caden Prather.
Chris, folks at home are getting tired of me saying this, but that's execution or lack thereof, right? You got a guy wide open coming on a switch route underneath, a little out cut about 8-9 yards deep. He's wide open. There's nobody in the frame in a white jersey.
So was that more of the throw?
It's the throw. On that particular play, it was the throw. It was an out cut. The ball was put on his inside shoulder where you don't necessarily want him to go. Again, 1, 2, 3-step drop. Your shoulders are square. That's just execution.
You may not have that opportunity again in this drive on 3rd and 5. He goes to the other side. The catch is made by Octavian Smith, and he's going to pick up a first down.
Chris, it seems like every game I call with Maryland, they start finally getting the ball to number 5 late in the game. I'm telling you, that guy is sudden. He's a difference maker from the slotting position. He's got tremendous courage. I understand he's not been here that long, and I understand that there's some adoption issues that have to take place as well. They got to know the offense, but there's ways to get the ball to number 5. He's a playmaker.
There is his motion. They pick up a dozen, and Edwards is going to keep. Puts a little bit of a move on. He gets inside the 20-yard line. 4.5 and under in the 4th.
So now that they're inside the red zone, let's see how they execute. So 1/3 of your playbook goes out the window. The field is compressed. You know you're going to get hit sooner than you would be. That's how they execute.
Handles the low snap, has time, and throws high, and incomplete for Octavian Smith. Over 265 yards passing for Billy Edwards Jr. Came in 3rd in the Big Ten. He's passed for 200+ yards in every game this year. Had that big career high game against USC. 373 yards with 39 completions.
They sling it a lot now. They're 5th in the nation in terms of number of passes, and
he's 1 away from their average attempt of 43. Blitz is picked up. Somebody should be open, but incomplete. Trying to get it to Knotts. Shalik Knotts, the junior from North Carolina.
I think it was Saquon Loyal playing in a trail technique, right? And in his hip pocket, number 6. A little handsy too there. Knotts, ball out in front of him. Uses that right hand to grab it, but once again, just beyond his reach.
2 of 4 on 4th down for Maryland this evening. Rutgers has been excellent in that department with their offensive group on 4th down conversions.
Yeah, red zone has been a vortex for this Maryland Terps team.
Delayed blitz, the throw incomplete. It was deflected.
That was Malcolm Ray, the defensive tackle in there, who got his hands up, man. There's a couple of guys in there have done a wonderful job inside. Keontae Hamilton, that time Malcolm Ray, the redshirt senior, transferred from Miami Carroll. Watch number 9 here working inside. Nice little job over kind of a one-eye lineman over the nose tackle. Sticks that left arm up in his face and arm over. Gets his hand on it.
Nice identification from Miami guards, right? Yeah, Carroll City. Carroll City, Florida, super senior, was a transfer from FSU, excuse me, and he's got a chance. You're watching live on FS1, by the way. A big defensive stand once again. And now with a 2-touchdown lead on the football. Watch how Rutgers plays that control the clock and wrap it up kind of game. Monangai brought down right away. Surprised he's still in the game after getting that
timeout.
Start getting a timeout.
It's the first of the half.
Maryland getting a timeout. Time for tonight's Smokin' Player of the Game, sponsored by Old Trapper. What's your beef?
My friend, I'm thinking it's going to Kyle Monangai. It's got to be the guy, right?
Yep.
We didn't even know if he was going to play today. I don't think they knew he was going to play, but he showed you he's got ability to make those phone booth kind of moves. Outstanding job staying in bounds, knowing when it's possible to go inside and using physics to his advantage. I may be a short guy, but I can get underneath your shoulder pads and make a play. Running with great ball security. To me, this guy right here is a player.
Yeah, and no snap counter if there was. And Greg Schiano told us, I'll try to be careful, but if he's out there, he's going to want the ball. 21 carries, the 2-touchdown game, as we mentioned. He's also been a target, reliable when they've tried to throw to him. He's got a couple of catches in the game, and smoking when it came to getting the ball in the end zone, that's for sure. They were tough yards, too. Maryland with 2 timeouts now after they keep it on the ground.
Nice.
And Monangai's going to add to it. Yeah, when I said they got the first down, so just that you might want to rest him a little bit with Illinois and Michigan State coming up after his injury and coming back off of the game last week.
I think this is Dante Trade on the back end of this. Watch this physical arm, right? The stiff arm, the finish. That is an offensive player right there, Chris. A guy that runs with the temerity of a defensive-minded guy. He's special. He's got a little something that I know why they wanted him to start tonight.
+90 yards for Monangai on the ground. And again, a back-to-back 1,000-yard season. At the 3-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Thrown down hard by this Maryland defense. It's Jordan Phillips. Phillips, strongest player on this Maryland defense.
It's their second of the half. It'll be 30 seconds.
Maryland will have 1 timeout remaining. So this is a Big Ten bash, and Rutgers on their way to 3 Big Ten wins, which will tie the program high. These are some of the results from today. Buckeyes win, Penn State over Purdue, and #1 Oregon in the 3rd quarter. That's a 10-6 game.
Well, no surprises here. I'm curious to get your opinion on this too, Chris. If you got some other thoughts, feel free to go ahead and chime in there. Of the teams of the new guard that are entered into the conference with expanded playoff format, are the teams that are in position to be a part of that a surprise, or do you think there's anybody up there outside of Indiana? Indiana's obviously an outlier in that group, done a wonderful job not to marginalize their success. That's obvious.
Yeah, well, Indiana, Ohio State will be an interesting situation where they fall. I like. Do we have an injured player here? I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me just check, see who that is. It looks like it's a member of Rutgers, and it is Taj White, and he's in pain.
That's not good news. That's that rejiggered offensive line that they've already had to reshuffle and do some things up front with that.
Okay, I hope he's all right. Well, just in terms of these teams here and battling for bowl eligibility, getting to 6 wins, assuming Rutgers can hang on here. Mentioning that 4-game stretch, it was just brutal when they lost.
For an injured offensive player.
Yeah, they lost to Nebraska, Wisconsin, UCLA, USC, and then they beat Minnesota. And then this is what they have left with Illinois and Michigan State.
Yeah, there's going to be 2 winnable games that puts them in a position where they can do more and feel good about this season. October clearly was a disappointment for them. Had some key injuries along the way. We showed the triage list of players that they've missed, and even some of the ones that got back recently. They have gone through it, man. It's been a tough year on the injury front.
But back to your bigger picture about, I don't know if it's more the conference, but what you like about this expanded college football playoff is to see teams that you wouldn't normally see get an opportunity. And that's really what I think the country wants.
And I think they want to see us kind of mitigate the possibility of teams who should get in, like Florida State last year.
Being left out.
Being left out. I mean, we can argue that all day, whether it was worthy or not. But again, back to our earlier point about why the kids play the game. You got Florida State with the championship of Power 5 conference.
This is the 3rd and final. It'll be 30 seconds. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 53 seconds. 2:53. Thank you.
An exhausted Kyle Monangai.
We got our award tonight, and that should revive him a little bit.
Yeah, I hope he likes beef. So 3rd and 8, and the remaining schedule we can check for the other side, because now Maryland, and they talked about how the challenge of those trying to get wins against those 2 teams, now falling to 4 and 6 again if this score holds up. The turnover turned the tide, but Rutgers kind of came out after Maryland answered on that first second half touchdown drive. Rutgers responded and then took control of this game. And Monangai busy.
Yeah, you're right. The turnover wasn't the only thing, but it was part of an equation, right, that to collectively points toward Rutgers being able to do what they do right now, running the clock out. And these tight affairs, one turnover is all the difference in the world. I know 87% of the time, if you're trailing in the turnover category, you're going to lose a game, period.
Total yards. Maryland's moved the ball. They're both over 200. Greg Schiano watching that clock like a hawk.
I think they're in pretty good shape right now.
One more first down. They can wrap this thing up, but they're going to have to, before the 2-minute timeout, use their own timeout, and they do, so they'll have 2 timeouts remaining.
Well, I guess there's good news and bad news. I mean, it looks like right now it's going to be another loss for Maryland, but you know what's wrong. If you're a Maryland Terps fan or if you're Mike Loxley, you know what's wrong. It's the execution, right? It's about those fundamental things that you got to get better. And progressively, I looked at the tape because I've had them earlier this year, and they have gotten better. It's just not good enough to get the win. And they've got to get there at some point in time.
Yeah, the Rutgers offense, they came into this game their passing offense had totaled more than 574 more yards than at the same point last season. And they've thrown for nearly 240 tonight, adding to that. So they're a much better passing team this year. And that will sail out of bounds. We've reached the 2-minute timeout. Rutgers on the road.
This is
ahead in this Big Ten battle. Rutgers on their way to going 6-4, and for Maryland, if they fall to 4-6, still a chance to get to 6 wins and be bowl eligible for them. But that Iowa Penn State schedule is tough. Meanwhile, Rutgers, quite an accomplishment considering the amount of injuries. Again, something that coach said he has never seen in all his years of coaching, that not only injuries but loss of starters, major contributors to season-ending injuries.
I think Rutgers gets top grades for the reset of the year, man. That October was disappointing, but they have come back after that time off and upset Minnesota and getting another win stacked on top of that.
And this defense, yeah, whatever they hit on after their bye week and then last week, it wasn't just the opponent. They've come together. By the way, Wesley Bailey will be redshirted, or has been another injury. So one of those defensive starters that has been out because of a season-ending injury. Willie Edwards had a tough night. Maybe the sacks. Remember, they mentioned something about his thumb.
That was Jordan Walker on that last play. He's been impressive as well.
Felton out of bounds. No timeouts, Maryland. 1:49 to go.
Well, if you're Mike Loxley, you've got to hit the right tune with your team and find a way to motivate them. Again, they do have a chance, but it's against tough competition to get bowl eligible and get back to 500.
I mean, they've gone to 3 straight bowl games, 3 straight years, and I think he made that point to his team. I mean, it's one game at a time, but when the season is slipping away, there's a catch. Dylan Wade with a first down, and the clock stops as they spot it at the 42-yard line. It's 5 catches in the game for Wade. Keeps getting hit. It seems like every time, even when he throws the ball, almost a one-handed grab behind him at his back. Wade almost hauled that in.
Again, it comes to that accuracy or lack thereof. Billy has got to put that ball in front of him. He's running those shallow crossing routes for a reason. He's got a guy in his hip pocket, and he wants that ball in front so he can continue on. It's one of the basic tenets. Locks loves the old West Coast style offensive scheme, and he's borrowing aspects of it. And one of Bill Walsh's tenets was get the ball to Jerry Rice in motion while he's running so that he can do something with it. That's where he's most dangerous, and they've just not been able to execute with accuracy.
Quick pass at midfield. That's Octavian Smith Jr. short of the first down. Don't think you can say enough about the performance of this Rutgers team. Now they've come together through the hands of another receiver. That was Wade this time. I know you're raising your hands in frustration just because you want young players to come through and when they have the opportunity.
Yeah, I've got no horse in the race, but I mean, obviously, I'm just wanting these kids to execute at a high level, and it's up to them. They'll be frustrated, disappointed, been there before, know what that's all about, but man, you've got to improve.
Well, they hit their first 2 fourth down tries, but the last 2 they've missed on it. It's really left them out in the cold when it comes to putting points on the board. They need 2 on 4th down, and the catch is made as Felton makes another grab. So he has at least 5 catches every game this year.
And see, those are classic possession routes. You notice they weren't trying to do anything after. They're asking the quarterback now to throw through a spot because they can't trust him to hit somebody on the run.
And that's Hemby. Kind of wonder where he's been. Gets to the 31-yard line. He's had quite a game when they were back and forth when this was only a 1-score game.
Well, unfortunately, the run game became less of a factor because they start to increasingly get behind.
Yeah, Hemby with 5 catches. There's another one by Dylan Wade.
Careful.
Hemby 85 rush yards and a touchdown along with those 5 catches, and that's Wade who's having a busy time of it. 6 catches on 9 targets, but the clock, as they do get the first down, is the enemy here. As he is caught, and I thought he got out of bounds, but he did not. Making sure he did not.
He's nicked up, and they'll be timing out here, but his torso was clearly in bounds, and that's to me, I think that's another mistake.
Yep, Robert Longerbeam, the senior for Rutgers, kind of made sure he didn't get to the sideline, but you got to hustle over there. Hope he's all right. And for those of you looking for the Washington State New Mexico game, it's available streaming live on the Fox Sports app. It's also on FS2. And we're going to get you out to that game.
Game clock operator,
immediately.
Please reset the game clock to 33 seconds, as that is when the runner's foot stepped out of bounds. 33 seconds. The clock will start on the snap. We're in timeout for an injured player of the offense.
Thank you, referee Brian Banks. We'll get you out to that game with Washington State and New Mexico at the conclusion of this game as quickly as we can, since Rutgers has taken a tight game in the second half and pulled away. Well, what do you think about Rutgers in the last couple of games? Get a chance to get to 8 wins, obviously bowl eligible, already heard some bowl possibilities getting kicked around, and whereas Maryland has an uphill climb.
I think it's a masterful job of Greg Schiano understanding the nature of these young kids these days and pulling the right strings and motivating them to do what's necessary. The execution has been outstanding, and they've responded.
Edwards completes to Prather. And, you know, I know it's all about the college football playoff and getting to the championship, but it matters in your conference and the head-to-head competition, being able to play in a bowl game. You would know that from your playing days at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I think also there's a point to be made if Maryland gets this playoff, and what Kirk Ciarrocca has done, the offensive coordinator. This is a culmination of his 3 prior years with his quarterback, Ethan Kaliakmanis, at Minnesota. So there's familiarity with that, and with that comes continuity. And so that they now are flourishing is not a surprise to me.
Hemby carries. The clock has run out on Maryland and maybe run out on their bowl possibility as Rutgers comes to town, ends a 3-game slide head-to-head against the Terps and become bowl eligible. For Spencer Tilbert, Chris Myers, our entire crew, let's send it out to the crew at Washington State, New Mexico, Dan Helly, and Petros Papadakis.